Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome, Stunthangar fans. It is Friday night. That's right. That's right. It's Friday night again, finally, and it is 9:44 p.m. I'm running 4 minutes late. Sorry about that. It's January 24th, 2020, and welcome to the show. We're here to talk about aeromodeling, and we'll stay until midnight or later, depending on how the diehards go and what kind of conversations we come up with. The links are posted in all the usual places, so that means on the Stunt Hanger Control Line forums. If you're logged in as a member, go to the forums main page, and you can go to that's the same page where the open forum is, and it's not in the open forum, but if you scroll down below that, look for the header that says live streams, and there's a thread called At the Bench. This will be the first post in there. It will have been posted just about a moment ago at the exact same time the show starts. And the link is the top link. If you click that, then you should be able to come in here with your computer, tablet, or telephone, app, iPad, etc. And there are some optional links that you can post for coming in with just voice, telephone, that sort of thing. But that first link under Rusty invites you to a meeting is the one to click. And for those of you who don't have a camera and a microphone or prefer to watch the show in anonymity, you can just go to the Stunt Hanger YouTube homepage, the Stunt Hanger YouTube channel, and you should be able to find the show right there, pretty much front and center. It'll be streaming live, and there's a chat box you can use with text if you want to type to us your questions, answers, opinions, and whatever else you got. Bring it on. And yeah, we welcome you. A lot more people participate from the YouTube side, actually, than come in here with cameras and mics. And we'll incorporate your chat box conversations into our discussions as appropriate. And we try to keep everything family room friendly, so we appreciate try not to cuss too much, and the real bad cuss words are and we avoid that. Just something you wouldn't talk about amongst kids and visitors in your family room. So anyway, that's all we got to do. Then we talk about aeromodeling. Control line's our specialty, but we welcome all aeromodelers, whether you're RC or control line or whatever you do. Bring it to us. And hey, sometimes we get off topic. So as I always say, planes, trains, and automobiles, we talk about it all here and there. And I know telling what kind of subjects will come up some night. We talk about full-size airplanes, helicopters, and whatever. Heck, hunting and fishing. If you want to talk hunting and fishing, that's fine too. And so I'm waiting here now for some people to drop in. Usually get a couple of early folks on the YouTube side. And let me look. It says I only have one viewer on YouTube right now, so it's kind of a sparse crowd out there tonight. Now I got three. It reset when I changed pages. Okay, so I know there's three people watching me out there. I'm a worldwide celebrity. I got three people in my audience, one on each of half the continents, almost. And so anyway, I don't have much to talk about in my monologue here, except for I did get word tonight from Will Davis that he has submitted submitted the what do they call it? Not certification, but the paperwork. I forget. Sorry, it slips my tongue. For the Brodak event, it is going to happen, and it is the same schedule as last year. I don't have the exact dates right in front of me. I think I do, but I'm not 100% sure. But if you've got a calendar and look and see when Father's Day is, that's driving home day. So that means Saturday, looks like Saturday the 13th through Saturday the 20th, and Sunday the 21st is in red on my calendar. I guess that means Father's Day. So that's driving home day. So Brodak is on. And sanction, that's what he submitted. He submitted the sanction to the AMA. And so Brodak is in the books for 2020. We're going to have it. The only difference from last year is that we're not going to have a half A stunt contest, and we are not going to have one of the others. I think Will said nostalgia. Um, I've already forgotten now. He fed me a bunch of information real quick, and the phone was breaking up. But I know that he said we're not having the half A event, and I think nostalgia is the one that he said that we're not doing. But we'll wait and see if he straightens me out on that. Um, he might text me. He might be watching me say this right now. Could be one of my 3 viewers. And see, let me check and see what we got. Yeah, still got 3. Okay. Um, but anyway, I'm all set. Friday night, got my coffee, got my snacks, got my calendar, got everything I need. Let's see, tonight I got malted milk balls and 3 Musketeers bars. So I ought to be in good shape. And Ken Colbert's out there. Hey, Ken. Ken says, Rusty, well, I got my SIG quarter scale space walker in the building on the building table at last. All right, good. That's something we can talk about. In fact, if I'll see if anybody knows anything about that plane, and we'll try to get it in our discussion when I get some visitors in here. And Greg Rodney just dropped in, and Greg says he's going to try logging in. Okay, Greg. Chrome is the best browser to use, and if you're on a phone or a tablet, sometimes, but not always, it helps. And in fact, I think it helps a lot if you go to the App Store and get the Jitsi app. And if you can't get in just by clicking the link, try doing that first. Hey, Gary Sinclair, good and welcome all YouTube viewers to the show with Rusty. Thanks, thanks for the welcome, Gary. Good to see you. And let's see. I finally got Tom Luciano's calendar mailed to him last week. Sorry, I sat on it for a couple of weeks there, but at least he'll get it before the end of January. But anyway, yeah, he's in the picture of March. If you want to see me and Tom T-Bone, that's what he calls himself on YouTube. T-Bone Tom Luciano, and we're pictured at Huntersville with our Super Satans, both of which he built. And the one that I'm holding is the first one that he built when he got back into control line after a hiatus in RC for some years. And he built it, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he told me he had Larry Scarinzi, the designer of the Super Satan, looking over his shoulder and helping him while he built it. And they guys up there, Tom and Al Ferraro and one other fellow whose name I forget, they built a Fox 36X for me to bolt onto it, and we flew it out there. And I talked about this. I hope I didn't use it in my monologue last time I talked about it, but doesn't mean I can't be repetitive. But that thing clocked 118 miles an hour on PowerMaster 1022 stunt fuel. So, hey, it rocks. And I had Mike Leinke at the handle because I was clanking around with a walker at the time, so I was in no shape to try to fly 118 mile an hour fast combat Super Satan. But it's hanging in my shop right next to my little Satan. It's little sister. And I've got another little Satan still in the kit box. I've scavenged a few parts for it from it, but it's still mostly there. And I think Will Davis has got a couple of them that are in various stages of disrepair. One is still in the kit box, but pillaged, kind of like I was saying about my other one. And so I might have a couple of spares of that. You can't have too many of those Satans. Those little Satans are fun. That's my go-to half-A flyer. It's a fun plane to fly. and I've got a TD-049 on it, bladder fed. I just um, mounted the 049 with one of those round aluminum radial back plates. I bought mine from Texas Timers, but Hank at Texas Timers doesn't have them anymore. However, there are some people that do sell those. It's just a disc that's got the plug that fits into the back plate with holes bored all the way around it, so you can rotate it to any position you want. Um, if you can't get it just right, you can. Well, if you hadn't bored the holes yet in the firewall, but if you want to bore the holes in a symmetrically, uh, um, aesthetically appealing place, then you might have to knock a few threads down to get it to mount straight up or sideways exactly. But anyway, that's how I mount the TD on the little Satan, and then I throw the bladder over the wing so that it is right over the CG. And when you pump the bladder up, the center stays in the same place, and it grows like a hot dog, more like a bratwurst. And I just got it in a little mesh kind of a bag. It was part of a toolkit that came with a power washer that I bought one time, and I had that, so I just cut it up and make bladder holders out of it, and that contains it. So that's all the blabbing I've got to do by myself, and now I've got Dennis Adamison in here with me. Is my first video visitor tonight. How you doing, Denny?
Not bad. I was just sitting there listening to getting an education on bratwurst and things like that. So, can you hear me?
I'm
Okay.
I can't hear you. I can hear garble, but I think your mic position maybe.
How about now? That's not
Yep,
better.
good.
That's better. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the cord was loose. Sorry about that. That's all right. I don't have much to say. It's that memorable anyway. But I was just
Well,
saying, I was
hopefully
listening.
that's what our other guests are for, is to stimulate interactive conversation, and
Yeah.
I'm not providing too much stimulus tonight,
All
we'll
right.
get in our groove. I tell everybody that talks about coming to the show for the first time. I tell everybody it takes us about an hour to hit our groove, and then we get interesting. And for the first half hour or so, we stumble around,
Mm-hmm.
trying to settle on a topic. We do have some people joining on the YouTube side. Let me look through my list. Greg Rodney came in while I was talking. We got Gary Sinclair, Kenneth Colbert, Gerald Wimmer's out there. Hi, Gerald. He says, hi, Rusty, and all those Stunthanger people. Just watching on my phone today as I tidy up and do chores. The honeydew list. Minnesota Mike's out there. Minnesota Mike says, hi, Jeff. And yep, Jeff Riley joined, sure enough. Hi, friends. Hi, Jeff. And Minnesota Mike says, okay, Jeff, my grandma's nursing home burned down last night in North Dakota. Oh, good gosh. That's terrible. I hope all the patients, are, including your grandma, are okay. Sorry about that, Mike. Damn if you can't find a bad day when you least need it. And but
Yeah,
they
that's
found 115. They found 115 beds this morning for everybody, so that's good. Okay. Hey, Sparky, how
Hey,
you doing tonight?
good. I thought I'd come in and tell you, you got on YouTube here. I just clicked it off. Yeah, you have a thing in the top right corner. It says install the app in Chrome for Gypsy. So when you open that up, you needed to check "Don't show me this again" and close it.
Okay, I did close it. I didn't check. Don't show again. So
So
thanks.
you need to fix that because it's blocking the screen
Oh, is it still? Do you see it now?
on
Coming
you
from me?
on YouTube. Yeah.
About an hour to hit our
Hey,
groove.
Sparky. I took a peek on YouTube before too. I was able to close it on my own screen.
Right.
I think that comes up just because you opened YouTube, or
No,
maybe a combination of YouTube and Jitsi. I guess it must have been okay. Okay.
it's it's playing on YouTube right now, and Rusty is broadcasting.
Maybe. Well, I don't see it anywhere on my screen. I killed it as soon as I saw it, but and it's not in my previews. Oh, yes, it is in my preview screen too.
Can you kill it there?
No, that's not an interactive screen. And I am fast forwarded, and no, it doesn't go away. I don't know how to make it go away. Let me go over to you. Let me open YouTube, and I'll see if I can make that go away. All right. Y'all stand by. I'm opening YouTube right now. And of course, it's slow because I got all this video going on.
All right. Well, while he's doing that, evening, Steve. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Sparky. Hey, we had a question. Why do you leave your engine, spinner, prop, everything on your airplane when you're working on it? We said if that makes a better finish, then we're all going to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Good luck.
Is it just a habit, or?
I answered this question already. I do it so I can weigh it, make sure that I keep it in balance.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I ended up putting the battery and stuff in one of Samantha's airplanes because it set on that little foam cradle better without tipping. I could move it around, and long as the wing was on something, it tended to balance there or whatever.
Yeah. Well, the whole history on that, Sparky, is I asked it one night. I think it was like, I came in late one night. I think you had already gone for the night. And I just asked around if anybody had any idea why you did that. And there was some speculation that we know how close you watch weights and stuff. And there were some people thinking, well, maybe he does it for that. But then the week after, or the show after that, I caught you and I was able to ask you directly then. And Steve wasn't there then, so that's why you got the question. You'll probably be getting this question at least a half dozen more times from everybody else who saw the question the first time and didn't see your answer. So,
and every time you're at a contest from people from other parts of the world, they're going to be asking you now. Could go on for years.
You're going to be world famous as a guy who never takes the engine out.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, you got you're running a gold head engine because that's the trim color you used on the front of the airplane, right? So you got the Tucker finished off?
It is not finished. I have to clear it and then ink it and then clear it. But our weather is crap.
Yeah, well, a lot of that going around. We got nothing but rain. We had about the most miserable day in history around here.
Yeah, they said here today that Lake Michigan is up 5 inches in the month of January.
Mm-hmm.
Every inch is 400 billion gallons of water.
Made some decals for it.
That's super. So did you? Is that the files you had left over from your MC-72?
No, I had to search them online.
Yeah, I'm using Firefox.
Okay. Anyhow.
I can't find any way to close that little pop-up window.
Well,
is that Rich?
I'll tell you how you do it, Dusty. Well, that might drop the screen, though. The gentleman just came in has his window open and he's swapping.
I'm getting some echoes here. Somebody else have that window?
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Chatter's coming in bad from somebody.
Fellow Jitster.
Yeah.
Is that Rich? Fellow Jitster? Who is that?
I don't know. Let's see what his jacket says.
Hello, fellow Jitster with the Columbia jacket on. What's your name?
That's me. Greg Rodney.
Oh, hey, Greg. Hey,
I wasn't
if you
sure I got in there.
background, if you got a YouTube open in the background, we're getting some chatter, some echo.
Let me check. No, I don't.
You got a good. Okay, we're trying to track it down. Okay, everybody. Greg is the CNC. I can't spell it off the end of my tongue. What's the name of your company?
Southridge CNC.
Southridge CNC guy. Yeah, this is the guy that I talk about having made my Hyper Viper kit and also other kits that he cuts out with CNC.
You make my hinges, right?
Yeah. Now you can put an ugly face to those nice hinges.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, if you will go with your, are you on a computer with a mouse?
No. Well, what's left of my wife's laptop.
Okay. Well, if you go down to the bottom right and you see 3 dots, if you click those 3 dots, a list will pop up, and you can put your name in it, and it'll say Greg or whatever you type in. Right now, all it says is fellow Jitster, and it'll stay that way every time you log on after this.
All right.
I'm glad you were able to come in with us.
Yeah, it's always nice to know who we're looking at any given moment. So, or something like
I
that.
enjoy looking at the pictures of you and your grandson working in your shop on Facebook. That's been some time ago when you posted that, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Is he getting interested in building and modeling, or is he all over the place like most kids his age?
Actually, our club is having our annual dinner meeting this Sunday, and I make some award plaques for everybody. So we've got 2 youngsters, Dalton Hammett's granddaughter, Alyssa, and my grandson, Joseph. We made plaques up for their very first control line flight.
Super, that's great.
All right.
Keep
That is
interesting.
fantastic.
So,
How old is he? How old are they about?
He's 11.
Great.
11 or 12.
That's good. I was
And
about
the little
12 when I.
girl the same way? The other one?
Pardon?
Your other pilot?
Dalton's granddaughter, I think, is 13. Of course, she's discovered boys now, so she's not interested in flying as much.
Well,
Let me tell y'all. Let me tell y'all some news tonight. I mentioned it in my opening monologue, but Will Davis has filed the sanction with the AMA for Brodac. Brodac will happen come hell or high water in June, and it's the same schedule as last year, which I think that means Saturday, June 13th through the 21st. In any case, he said that the 21st or Sunday is Father's Day. That's driving home day, he calls it. So look out for the dates to become official. But for right now, that's what I know. The 13th to the 20th, and then the 21st is driving home day.
sounds
You
good.
said they're not having a half-A event?
What's that?
They're not having the half-A event?
Oh, yeah, they had.
That's right. They're not having half A, and I think they're not having Nostalgia or one of the other events too. I forget which one the other one is.
Oh, okay, I hadn't
But-
heard that.
Yeah, half A is not happening.
Well, they haven't had a lot of entries in Nostalgia 30 or in. They used to fly Old Time Stunt 2, which was Old Time Stunt airplanes with flaps. I think over the years you can count the entries on one hand, but
I'm on check.
I'm surprised they
check.
wouldn't have that because that was a big hit last year.
Yeah.
Hey,
There were a
Greg.
bunch.
Yeah.
Oh no. Excuse me. Will, I gotta check.
Hey, Greg, you have my permission to go ahead and, sell them hinges to other people. I send them over that way.
Okay. Appreciate it. I've been trying to figure out how to incorporate those into a half-A, but when they come out of the machine, they fly out like sawdust. I'm tired of looking for them. They're only a half-inch long when they come out of the machine.
Oh,
It's been fun. I've been working on a.
I just got a.
I've been working on a new ringmaster kit.
all right. One at a time. Greg, go ahead.
I've been working on a new idea for a ringmaster. One of the club members was complaining about all the sanding you got to do to get that leading edge. So I have an old original one here, and I don't know if I can get this into the camera or not. I tried carving one 3D, and it didn't come out too bad. It got it light. It got it down to 26 grams. The original one, I think this thing is red oak, is 51 grams per half.
51 grams sounds like you got a light one there. But,
Yeah. So anyway, what I've come up with is these. They're all, I'll show you an inside pic. They're all manufactured and all jigged. I can get that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, these are 13 grams a piece. So we're at 26 grams for a complete leading edge. And it goes together just like the original. There's a place for a spline that goes in a half-inch deep, and then all the ribs set in all those slots. The plain kit with the aluminum landing gear is coming in at 10 ounces. So I figured by the time we put a Brodak 25 on there and a tank and wheels and some covering, it should come in around 25 ounces. That should be light.
That should be light. I do like the idea of the mill leading edge. That's great. So, about how thick is the wall on that?
1/16.
3/16?
1/16.
Yeah. Okay. 1/16. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised you can hold that in balsa. That's great.
Yeah, that is nice.
This is one that went bad, so I just kind of chewed the end apart so I could, show how it's built inside. But it's all jigged up. Later on, after I have my brewski here, I'll put one together. You guys can watch it while we chat.
Yeah. Do you have any trouble when you mill the balsa? Does the balsa wander on you? Do you
When I tried milling the solid stuff, I kept getting curves. It releases all the tension in the damn wood, and that's why I decided to go with a built-up leading edge. I actually looked at the article that Dee put out, how he builds his, and it's just a reverse way of doing it. I made up fixtures because I have a CNC machine. You'll see it, this all just presses down in, and it sets for an hour till the glue dries, and I pop it right out, and it's done.
I can see it. I can see it now, Steve. When Tran gets here, he's going to be molding one out of carbon fiber using the same mold. Right? We have a carbon fiber ringmaster that doesn't weigh anything, and you can beat people to death with it.
That's where we're headed.
That's where we're headed.
Well, the way I fly, I have to have one like that.
Yeah. Okay. And sorry, Rusty, you had an update on the schedule or something? What was that?
I did, but it's ambiguous. I'm retexting Will now to find out if he mistyped it. But I do have some on Brodak. He says, Joe Nall, Joe Nall, Thursday stunt clinic and swap meet, Friday N30 and profile, Saturday Pampa classes. Now, at Brodak, he says, Brodak is the same schedule as last year. He says, yes, on half A on Thursday. I think he meant no half A on Thursday, because that's what he said on the telephone. I'm texting him to clear that up right now.
Yeah.
And as far as the other event that we're not going to fly, if I figure out what he was talking about, I'll tell you that. But I'm texting him right now.
Yeah. The Thursday is usually their makeup day for rain and whatever else, and when it's as it turned out last year on Thursday, all it was windy as heck, which was perfect for half A's, right? And
yeah,
they had a good old time. I don't think they had any crashes or anything, or nothing significant anyway. But and everybody is coming away hooting and hollering, so it seemed like it would just be surprised if they didn't. didn't have it again. So
Yeah, and that's how I feel
It
too. I
will,
mean, the most
Will does
people
say
show
no
up
half
there.
A. Will did say no half A, no OTS at Joe Knoll.
at Joe Knoll, yeah.
Right.
I don't think they've had it at Joe Knoll in the past either, have they? Maybe they
They
did.
might have had it for the first time last year,
Yeah.
but I only went up for a part of a day on Thursday, and I went back Saturday. I'm going to go up this year Thursday and Saturday because I want to go to the judging clinic if they have one.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. The final word from Will Davis just came in. Half A on Thursday at Brodak, same as last year. So,
Okay.
All right.
there you go. Okay, we got that straight. So build your half A, guys.
I'm gonna go off a bit and grab a couple of half A's and bring them down to show you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, I brought my half A's last year, and they wouldn't let me fly them. Some little details. They were all miffed because they were electric. But
yeah.
Was the rule for IC only?
yeah, and it's right. I mean, the guys, they're flying anywhere from all different kind of engines and stuff. Frankly, I think half A stunt is one of those things that kind of grows and it gets real popular for a while, then it kind of wanes, and 10 years later, somebody, hey, let's do that, and then it grows again. Of course, the problem is half A engines are it can be a bit cantankerous, and you start, as you well know, and if you're not willing to mess around with nitro and ladders and stuff like that, they can be a real pain in the patoot. So that's why I always thought electric half A sized airplanes with electric motors, you basically get rid of all the engine run problems. But that's what makes half A fun, I guess, is the engine run problems.
Every time I bring my half A's out to the field, Wayne asks me, "Did you bring your volumes too?"
Yeah, that's it.
Because it's so irritating. Yeah.
Well, when everything's working, it's about as much fun as you can have with model airplanes. So
if you ain't smiling after you land one of those, something's wrong with you, because those are fun to fly. If you got a good running one.
Well, I got a kick out of watching that video you posted with your little Satan with the RR1. I've never seen an RR1 run before, and I guess I still haven't in real life. But those engines are legendary and all that, and rare. And there you go, zipping around with the little Satan of all things. And
you're talking about the one on my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
That's a good running engine. I swear it was almost as fast as a TD. And I was flying it with too big of a prop. I think I had a 5.5 or a 6 on there. Probably a 5.5.
It was kind of funny. If they'd have kept developing that engine, I wonder if they certainly could have, probably could have got a little more out of it. They might have been able to catch up to the TD completely with it. Maybe it's just too hard to build.
It's amazing to me they hold up as well as they do. The way the valve plate is coupled to the crank pin, it just doesn't look sturdy, but they hold up good.
Is that a rear valve engine then?
Yes, it is.
Inside the tank somehow, huh? Wow.
Yeah, you can't tell by looking at it from the outside. It looks just like a baby, except for fancy and wood in it.
What? You just got here?
Yeah, I got to get up in the morning.
All right.
You going to John's tomorrow?
Yeah. On about 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern time in the morning.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you then. Hey, by the way, I got microphones so that you can hear us now. I got a mic set up for us.
Oh, terrific.
That's good.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, Sparky.
Take care,
Thanks for dropping in. Good night.
All right. So we got some new toys here. What's up?
Yeah, Rusty, you were talking to Dalton Hammett about the electric I'm going to be offering, I hope soon.
Right.
This is going to
is
be
that it?
It's a
That's
full
pretty
flat slab wing,
wing.
and that's a 2600 kV motor. And on a 7.4 battery, we had to put. The first time I flew this, I figured it was going to be a little lethargic, so I grabbed a set of 35-foot lines. It was the longest 3 minutes of my life. we fly this on 42s, and we're getting about 3.5 second laps on 42s.
Holy cow, that's really
And
cooking.
this thing stunts like crazy. It's a full flapped. I don't know if you can make it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see it. I see the hinges on it. Now, what about that wing? Has it got a little airfoil shape to it?
Nope, just flat 1/8-inch slab.
Wow.
So I built one for electric, and I've got one with a TD on it. That's why I was a little upset when you said they weren't going to have the half A at Brodax this year.
I'm sorry, that was just a mix-up. But,
Well, I feel a lot better now. But yeah, these things are fun. This plane's actually a 1973 design. It was done by Dick Sarpola's son. It's called Little Brother,
Okay.
and it's a neat little
Okay.
airplane.
I like
Kind of looks like the Primary Force a little bit.
yeah, it sort of does. I like the tail end look too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But these are those little Chinese motors I get for $5 a piece. It's a 2208 8-turn, 2600 kV. And the batteries I found. You seen those airsoft rifles that kids play with? These are the batteries that go in them. It's a long, thin, narrow battery. And it makes it easier to set the CG on the darn thing. I got Velcro in behind it.
Yeah, that looks good. Looks like, do you know what the milliamp rating is on that battery?
1,000.
1,000?
1,000. And I bought two different amp meters because I was really surprised. Static, this thing only pulls 11.94 amps. And I know that drops off once you release the plane.
Mm-hmm.
So I only got a 12 amp ESC on it. That thing flies.
All right. If you don't sit there and let it run on the ground and all the time, it'll be fine. Start it. You can peak load those things a little bit. It won't hurt them if you don't sustain it. But yeah, get it started and give it a toss. So sounds like maybe a little throttle might be in play too. There, slow it down a tick.
Oh,
Put it on 52s.
That takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, put it on 52s. You got more room to stunt. Sounds like you got enough airplane, enough speed there to hold it. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try a set of 52s. But the weather up here has been so damn lousy. It's either raining or windy.
Yeah, where are you at?
I'm up in Erie, PA.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. You're flying on Spectra or Spider Wire or whatever.
I got the 8000s stainless.
Okay. All right.
I like it because there isn't a lot of drag to it. Got to be real careful with them so you don't kink them, but I really like them.
Yeah, the 08s are really nice. They scared me to death because they're so delicate. I switched over to the I got some 15 and 20 pound not Spider Wire, Spectra.
Spectra.
Yeah, it's Spectra, but I'm trying to think of the brand name. It'll come to me probably 2 hours after we sign off. But the stuff is really light, and what I really like is it's slippery.
Is it this yellow stuff?
That looks like the Kevlar line that Sullivan sells, right? What is that?
I'm not sure. I bought a spool of this from the local hobby shop, and I'll tell you what, you can't break the stuff.
Yeah, it might be the Sullivan used to make lines out of Kevlar. Is it kind of a flat cross section? It's not really.
Yeah, it looks like it's waxed or something.
Yeah, it sounds like the Sullivan line, but yeah, the Spectra lines you can get them. They're actually lighter than steel, so they would be bigger than 008, but lighter weight probably. They'd be an interesting thing. What I like about them is that they're just about indestructible and just normal handling and stuff. And they're slippery, really slippery. So.
What?
Brent Williams says Power Pro Spectra. Is that what you were trying to think of?
Power Pro, thank you. They say what? The memory is the second thing to go. I forget what the first is. Right?
First, yeah.
Is there a reason why you have the battery on the inside of the airplane?
Yeah, so I don't have to put a lot of mechanisms to hold it in place. The centrifugal force holds it up against the fuselage. And it's Velcro behind the entire length of the battery. It's not just in spots.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost a pain in the ass to get the battery off when it comes time to change batteries, but they haven't come off in flight.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, you don't bust the motor, so you don't have to worry about it going far.
Yeah.
The camera makes that line look really thick, but I think that's a illusion.
Yeah.
What, this stuff?
Yeah.
I bet you that's a good 12, 13 thousandths.
Okay, yeah, it's not as thick as it looks. It's just the camera making it look that way.
Yeah.
On my monitor, anyway.
You should go measure it, see what it is. Now you got my curiosity up. Oh, it's 20 thou.
Yeah, I thought this stuff was pretty big. But yeah, that stuff will be really durable too. You get it, tie it off or whatever. It'll be great. But, that's a good place for it. I've got some, and I couldn't even consider flying on them. I ended up using it for a stooge line because it's bright yellow. It's easy to see in the grass, and it was like I say, that stuff's pretty much indestructible. So that was all good stuff. But I couldn't bring myself to try to fly on it. So
when I was a kid, we used to fly with the waxed mason's line.
That
the bricklayers and block layers used.
Yeah.
There was some kind of string that was waxed. They could leave it out in the weather all day. Wouldn't the rain, nothing would bother it. That was tough stuff.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that around anywhere. Well, hopefully if I don't wreck these before Brodax, we'll see them out there.
Well, hey, I think you're onto something there. The beauty of half-A airplanes is, especially when you keep them as, you keep them with slab wings and stuff like that. And if they perform well, I mean, that'll get a lot of people into the game in a hurry. If they can build that up in a hurry and toss it in, you toss it in on top of the suitcase on your way out the door. So
yeah,
they bring kits, they can build them there, but.
My Stuntman 23 had that wing, and that was the most fun I ever had. That was great.
Hardest thing about these is trying to get a straight piece of 1/8 inch. I wound up laminating these out of 3 pieces to get them straight. Otherwise, you just wind up with that a little bit of a woof, and boy, that'll screw them up bad. I mean, I fly bad enough. I don't need the plane helping.
Can you buy carbon fiber sheets in sizes like that?
I don't know if that would get rid of any twist.
Really?
Well, yeah, you could build probably a $500 half-A out of it, though. That would be no problem.
Okay.
I think if I was going to do that, I think you're right. You're on something there. But if you put it like top and bottom and pressed it, and let it dry and everything like that, you'd have a wing that would be indestructible and everything like that. But I it just might be a little pricey. You could do a really good job with. I think if you really were interested in like pressing it, you could probably do it with just silk span and epoxy and press it.
That's an idea for you, Rusty. You can build yourself a $500 airplane and then put that $500 R1 and tell everybody you have a $1,000 stunt ship.
That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
It. You'll win by if cubic money is the question, you be the answer, man.
Yeah.
I actually gave my RR1 to Ron Cribbs.
Oh, okay.
I've got his TD010. We just kind of swap things. Nothing official about it. But hey, is that a TD051 or is that just got a red?
No, that's a 51. That's an 051. I bought that when I was a kid.
My baby flight streaks. I love mine.
Yeah, they're a great little engine.
Yeah,
I like them.
I think mine must be worn out now because every time I try to do a loop, it coughs out at the top like a fox. and then it starts back up. I don't know what the problem is. I need to take it apart and check.
Maybe you kept it too close in the cupboard with a Fox 35. Caught the disease or something.
Yeah,
You don't have to worry if it stops. You only have to start worrying if it doesn't start again. I don't know. I used to watch guys fly Fox 35s all the time, dead rich. They hit a corner and the thing would like shut off for a second. You'd wonder if it's going to, just enough to make your heart beat. And it'd always come back. They, they work fine.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I only ever used one Fox 35 on a stunt plane, and thankfully it was only once, and I don't miss them at all. But
I've only got one. It's on my Yak 9, and it burped a little, but not as bad as everybody else's, apparently. It doesn't cause any trouble for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one on one of Samantha's airplanes. She loved it, and the damn thing never burped one time. Everybody talked about it, and I always wondered what they were talking about. Until I was at the field once, and a guy brought one out, and it did it. I was like, holy shit, well, that scared the hell out of you.
Yeah, it'll definitely get your attention.
See, my favorite engine is a McCoy Lightning Bolt 35.
Mm-hmm.
They have enough power for what I do, and if you put a wide blade prop on them, they will give you a 2.4 brake. They won't do it with a thin blade prop. I don't know why. I've asked a few people about that, why it'll do it. You set it with a jack at about 10,500 on the ground, and you pull even to do a simple thing like a wing up, and it'll just break right in that 2-cycle.
My best 2.4 brake engine's a Max F35, and I think I fly it with a 11 something Master S.
That's what I've been flying them with is 11.4.
That sounds about what I use, yeah.
Yeah, I put a Lightning Bolt 29 on a plane, and everybody couldn't believe the power it had. It ran better than the Fox 35. And it would break like that. It'd come on, and it wasn't a real hard break, but I mean, I got that thing someplace, but that's a hell of a good running motor. I just keep waiting for it to wear out and quit. But so far.
Which one you talking about? A Max F? Or which one, Steve?
A McCoy 29.
McCoy, yeah.
And I think McCoy's got a bad rep because they were cheap,
Yeah.
Boxes were like $20, and McCoy's were $5.95 for a 35, and it's like, well, it can't be any good, Well, they did have some issues. They had some metallurgy, especially later on when AMF or whatever took. Was it AMF that took them over?
Testers.
Yeah, I think there was even somebody before Testers. But anyhow, the metallurgy wasn't good. The basic engine design is great. The metallurgy wasn't so good.
Well, I still got that 35 and that 40 that I bought last year. That they're the Lightning Bolts. I want to do what Al Ferraro did and put the Tester's piston in there with the ring.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best running 35 he's ever run in his life.
Mm-hmm. Those are good. My dad had a 40 like that, and the thing was a real stump puller. So
That's what I like about mine with the 11.4 prop. It keeps my lap time down to around 6 seconds, but it does pull like a tractor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I wish this weather would clear up so I could get out and start flying again.
Yeah. Well, we got a bunch of rain right now. It hasn't been cold or anything like that. And Steve, you got snow and ice and everything, don't you?
Well, we had rain most of the day today, so it melted a lot of it off. But you go anywhere near a field,
yeah,
you're going to need hip boots. There's a
Yeah.
couple, we fly all winter long over blacktop, but we take a real beater plane out, something that barely runs, stuff that has duct tape on the wings, just to get a flight in. Our club does this thing, it's called the all-weather flyer, and you got to do at least 10 laps of a flight once a month throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
So We were out 2 years ago. It was 12 above with a 15-mile-an-hour wind. 3 of us idiots were out there flying.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Shows just how deep the insanity runs.
Yeah, that's it. I should say good for you or something like that. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
today it was snowing in the morning, then it rained up until about an hour ago, and now it's snowing again. But
Yeah.
they're flakes about that big around.
Yep.
The dog was
Yeah.
freaking out, seeing the big ass snowflakes coming. It was like, what the hell is that? Big moths or something, you know?
Amazing.
But yeah, it's like, I don't know what we're gonna do with all the water here. But
Where are you located at?
Michigan,
Michigan.
they said today that Lake Michigan increased its depth by 5 inches so far in the month of January, and
Wow.
every inch is 400 billion gallons. So that means a couple of trillion gallons of water in Lake Michigan over the last 30 days.
Jeez. I can't even comprehend. I can't comprehend that the lake moving 5 inches. I mean, that's big impact on all the shorelines and everything else. My God.
Yesterday they flew over. I don't know the governor. I don't know, looking at the shore of Lake Michigan because all the houses are now falling into the Lake Michigan.
Yeah. We got the same problem up here in Erie. The lakes, most of the docks are underwater in the marinas out and around the shore in Presque Isle State Park. And, 2 years ago, it was a 2-foot drop from the dock to get down to the water. Now the docks are underwater. So the last 2 years, it's gone way up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lake Michigan flows into Huron.
Yeah, Michigan goes into Huron, then Huron into Erie, and then Erie into Ontario.
Because I know that Lake Superior comes down and feeds both of them somehow. Or
Yeah, well, they're all interconnected. You can't.
Yeah,
If one lake is high, they're all high. So.
Do they all have the same fish types?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I think certain species. I'm not sure the salmon went everywhere, but
Yeah.
I think they're mostly in Michigan, aren't they?
There's no salinity.
Well, we got them here at Lake Erie too.
Yeah.
There's no salinity at all. It's all fresh water, right?
Right.
Yeah.
that's like everybody talks about beaches, and I've been to different beaches in different countries and Pacific and the Atlantic and everything else. If you really want a good beach, you got to come to Michigan, Lake Michigan.
Yep.
I mean, there's no jellyfish, there's no shark, there's no coral to step on. I mean, it's just white sand, kind of, or yellowish sand all over. They're great.
Well, the whole west coast of Michigan is the sandbar, so.
Yeah, I mean, we have great beaches here, and it's like I go to these other beaches, everybody thinks they're great, and it's like, yeah, okay. The water burns your eyes. The beach cuts your feet. But
Florida beaches are like that. It's all made from crushed shells. That's sharp on the feet.
Hmm.
And most of Michigan is sand from what I've seen. We've camped up there quite a bit. Like up around near Traverse City, that northern area. And some of the campgrounds in the interior of the state, you dig down a little bit to make a fire pit, and you're in sand. I think most of the state up north is sand.
any place close to the lake, it's like where I live here is the transition kind of to where we have a lot of clay. That's where all the apple trees are planted, all the apple orchards and stuff like this start. About 60 miles in from the lake because there's a lot of sand every place else. But I don't know what.
Jeff Riley says they need to get some trucks and bring some of y'all's water over to California. They could use it there.
They need. I was thinking they need to fill them damn airplanes and fly them to Australia and put out the fires.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Bad.
But we still have fields here with crops in them that they couldn't get out of the field because everything was so boggy. A lot of them didn't get planted this year, and then the ones that got planted, they couldn't get the stuff out of the field. They were starting to cut corn and stuff once the ground froze, but it's so hit and miss. First it's melted, then it's frozen. You know, it's just crazy.
I've been watching the weather pattern. Usually that stuff will come up out of like Missouri and Kentucky, and it'll head right over Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. But I noticed lately it's been going straight up through Michigan into Canada. We just get the tail end of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm worried about it. We get one of those Arctic blasts and these lakes aren't froze over, we're going to get dumped on.
Yeah, if we get some cold air, we'll get a shitload of lake effect.
And what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? It was like one of the only times in history that Lake Michigan was completely 100% frozen over.
Yeah.
Was that 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's nothing right now, but maybe up north a little. But
There's like ice balls. It's crazy. They show them on TV, and they look like about the size of baseballs and stuff. There's these ice balls just all over the. And I don't know if it's the sloshing of the water or the wave. You know, but
Does it start freezing around the edges first and then slowly creep into the middle, or does it just start icing up with little patches everywhere?
yeah, it finally freezes the middle. It starts on the edges from both sides, and
Then grows towards the middle.
yeah. Yeah, we've had some weird weather here the last year or so. I mean, what is today, the 24th?
mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, 1978 is when we had the blizzard of all blizzards. And the snow was so deep that our neighbor guy across the street came and dug out our back door because we could not get either the front or the back door open. We could open the doors, we couldn't open the screens because they went out. But we had a drift in our backyard, so we went up 4 steps to the landing, and it was 5 foot tall on the door. So it was probably 8 feet deep between our house and our garage. It took us all day to shovel it out. And we were shoveling up over our heads to get knocking it down and then airing it and stuff. But the whole neighborhood came together, and we did one driveway after another and cleaned all the neighbors out. We did it for 2 days. And then finally the plows, like the 3rd or 4th day, came down and opened up the road.
Plowed everybody back in.
I got a foreign friend that lives in Rhode Island, and he says that if they don't keep their sidewalks in front of their houses clear of snow, then they'll get ticketed.
Yep.
Yeah, same here in the city of Erie. I live outside the city, but yeah, they don't care if you're 90 years old and bedridden. If you don't get the sidewalk shoveled, you get a fine.
I guess
Well, you don't own the sidewalk.
For people with snow moving machines, they go make a lot of money clearing people's sidewalks.
Well, when I lived in Wyoming, I don't know, they voted to buy sidewalk plowing equipment. It was a little single-seater that was just narrower than the sidewalk, and then it had a pointed blade. And that thing would plow at about 40 miles an hour. I mean, you hear it coming. That thing go down the sidewalks. But we had, every year they came along and looked at the sidewalks and would grind them and stuff because that thing was going so fast it couldn't hit a raised piece of sidewalk or it would mess the thing up. But
And messed the driver up, too.
Yeah, but yeah, you couldn't believe how fast they could plow sidewalks. But I forget how many thousands of dollars that cost, but I was happy for it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. And when we do get snow here in this neighborhood, it's like everybody kind of chips in on it. But I do my, I got just a walk behind snow blower, and when I finish my driveway, I walk to one end of the block and I walk to the other end of the block and come back to my house, and we got the sidewalk clear. And that's and I probably did it for somebody who did it an hour or two before me or something like that. So
Okay.
sidewalks, we haven't had any issues with sidewalks, but I can't imagine if they fined us for it, probably nobody would do it. But I don't know, or they'd only do their own or something like that. But who knows?
Yeah, I always used to do mine, and then the lady next door to me, she was in her 70s, late 70s. So I always did hers, and up to because the mailboxes were around the house, so you had to keep the sidewalk open, or they wouldn't deliver your mail, and I do all that. That one year we just got a crap load of snow and stuff, and I kept it all out. And another lady down the road, but her daughter come over. Here, my mom wants to thank you for taking care of her. She brings me a 12-pack of beer. I'm like, oh, thank you. I don't drink. That beer was in my refrigerator till the next winter. I try to get it to people who come over.
Yeah.
But at least her heart.
Why didn't I know you then, Steve?
Huh?
Why didn't I know you then? So
Really, give you free beer?
I could have helped you out with that.
Yeah.
I mean, what are friends for, right? So.
No, if she'd have gave it to me in my 20s, they wouldn't have lasted me till 5 o'clock. But
right. No. No, we had about a case left over from the Christmas party, and I think we have a case minus about 2 bottles still left over. So.
Yeah, it was always with me is that I can't do stuff half-assed. If I was going to drink, I was really going to drink. The same thing with smoking. Anything I do is just, I get addicted to it and just can't say, well, I can have one.
Nah, it's like potato chips.
I can't do anything with model building or flying or anything I like to do with alcohol in my blood.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I didn't even quit on purpose. I just realized one day, damn, I hadn't had any alcohol in ages. And so.
Well, what it was with me, I got back into RC flying to cure me from drinking because I couldn't afford to do both. Because that was back in the day when a radio cost you $500 and stuff.
Well, and $500 cost you $500.
Yeah. So it was just a deal to where I gave up drinking beer and going to the bars and stuff, and I started flying model airplanes. Which I don't know which is worse.
And while we've been blathering along, it looks like Greg has just laid up a pair of leading edges.
Yep. It's crude as hell, but I don't know if you can see in there. I've got window screen as the mold. So I take this upstairs and put it in front of a fan. In an hour, it's dry enough to come out.
That's great. So
it works.
Or do you like use ammonia water or something?
Nope, just plain hot water.
Just plain hot water. Okay.
Plain hot water.
And then when those are dried up, you'll take them, or you build up a couple of bulkheads in them and cap them on the back edge or something? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. This is going to go off the side to dry, then I'll start putting another one together.
Wow.
We got a YouTube guy that I've never seen before named Greg Elko. He came in a while ago. I didn't notice, and he asked if anybody had heard any more about the latest FAA rulings. And Gary Sinclair replied, let's see, said he saw a statement today on Drone 107 is on hold because Fire 8 modelers. So that's good, I guess.
Well, there was a couple of things. There was, and somebody posted it on in the main forum on Stunthangar. The EAA really did a nice job for us, and helped. They made the statement about keeping model aircraft separate from the rulemaking. And okay, and then the other bigger question. I don't know. I forget who you said it was, but it's also been made extremely clear that control line isn't affected by any of the rulemaking because they don't consider us to be airplanes because we're tethered and we stay in one place and all that kind of stuff. So control line and free flight are supposedly get a free pass on it.
Right. As it
But
should be.
so but still, I still, I haven't flown radio in a long time, but I may someday, and we got to watch out for this, I guess. So, but I think that there could be, find on the main forum, in the main forum, there was a posting on that. I'd have to go look it up. But there was a posting on that, and it was really, I thought the EAA did a really nice job. They even posted a picture from. The EA posted it. I got it in the electronic copy. It had a picture of Mark Wise doing some training flying, looked like a Joe Knoll or something like that. So, all right. I just went back to the site. I'm going to see if I can find it here. EAA on our side. It was posted by Dave Siegler, and it is now the second article, second post down in the main forum, in the open, the main open forum. So.
And I tell you what, if that goes through for even RC airplanes and drones and stuff, the hobby is just about done.
Well, that's it. I mean, 400 feet with an RC plane, forget about it.
It's going to be where, all of our electric motors came from RC airplanes. They don't sell enough of them to have a manufacturer make them for control line. All the battery technology, all that stuff came from the drones, and cars, stuff like that. Well, I mean, there are only going to be cars left. I mean, all these manufacturers are going to go out of business.
Yeah, I don't know. All the motors come out. All the Outrunner motors come out of something like 3 factories in China, and they're still building them for. They'll still be building them for drones and other things. Now, the magic is going to be: are we going to get motors, correct KVs, and stuff like that we can actually use? Most of the drone motors have bad KVs for us.
Well, I look at the drones are going to be so expensive that most people will quit flying drones. I mean, if you got to put some kind of a monitor in each one of your airplanes, what that's going to cost, and it's just going to run the cost up so high that people aren't going to do it anymore.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm the Pollyanna, but I guess I'll wait and see on this. I don't know that it'll be as bad as that. I hope you're wrong. I have no reason to believe that you are, but I just hope you're wrong on that. So.
I mean, it's like
everything you're saying is right on target. I mean, the hobby is not exactly a vital growing thing right now, and something like that would be enough to wipe us out, I think.
It's like I got all my RC stuff downstairs, and I got a radio that'll hold 20 aircraft, and I probably got 9 or 10 flyable.
Mm-hmm.
Each one, you can't have one transponder and put it in an aircraft. It has to be a transponder for that airplane with its number and everything. I mean, so either I'm down to flying one airplane, or I don't know how much these transponders are going to cost and stuff like that, and getting your tail number from the FAA. I mean, it's going to be expensive, and The other thing is it's just going to make it a bunch of bullshit to deal with, you know. Is it even worth it?
You know, like I say again, while we've been chatting, looks like Greg has gone and finished up with another set of leading edges. And hello, Len.
We'll all have to
Hey, how you doing, Dennis? Hello, gentlemen.
We'll all be at the bean field flying.
Yeah, it's the only place you'll be able to fly.
Yeah.
You're all welcome.
All right. Be careful what you say, Len. So.
Yeah.
That's okay. The more the merrier. Got 2 good circles. We're good to go.
You'll have 400 or 500 people there that don't know what hydro is. They'll be looking for a glass of water.
Well, we got a creek out back. We can bail water, no problem. Depending on what you need it for.
I told you about that story when I was in London. And they kept saying the hydro was on the other side of the camper. So I wanted to fill up the water jugs. So I'm over there just looking for a hose or a faucet or something. And I couldn't find it. Finally, I came back and I'm like, where in the hell is the faucet at? And they said, what are you talking about? I said, they said the hydro was on the other side of that camper. And I can't find it. And they all started laughing at me. There was an electrical outlet that was over there.
You're going to have to learn to live off grid. That's the only way to go. Solar panels and fires, that's it. No power.
Yeah, they teased me about that every time I went back. About looking for water.
Can everybody double check and make sure you don't have a YouTube page talking in the background? Because I keep hearing echoes, but I don't hear it from everybody.
I don't have, I can turn down my stuff. I don't know.
Nah, that's not it.
I don't have anything going here. There's nothing going on here.
What was going on before you got here, though, Lynn?
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. See if that makes sense.
Okay. All right, talk. I think I still hear it. So, Steve, you say something.
What do you need me to say, Spartan or Rusty?
That's enough.
Is it
I
mine?
still hear.
I don't know how it could be, Greg. If usually the most common thing is if somebody has a Chrome window open and a YouTube on some other thing open. You don't have any.
I'll go shut my TV off.
Come back in.
We'll see if my TV has the stuff up.
I distinctly hear our conversation repeat.
Yeah, I
half
hear
a
it
second.
too.
So.
I thought it was Sparky because it got real bad when he came in. But it
Hey, Rusty, when you talk, you're getting a double image. Rusty, when you talk, I hear you again, and me too. When I talk, you hear an echo after.
I think it might be just a artifact of the live stream.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, Greg Elko, he's over on YouTube. He says he hears it too. So I don't know what's going on. I've double checked and rechecked, and I don't have two things open. So I think it's just an artifact of the stream.
Rusty, when
I can hear it myself.
When Sparky had you looking for that problem with the extra window up on the YouTube screen, you said you were going to open up a few things. Did you close everything back down then?
I closed everything, yeah. All I got is my studio controls and Jitsi page.
No.
And the studio.
Oh, it didn't help.
The studio controls closed.
Yeah, because before
everything's muted.
I got a flat screen TV, and the speakers and a flat screen are in the back. That points to the stairway, and the only thing that I can think of is it goes in the stairway and echoes out, because a couple times people could pick up my TV set, even though I can't even really hear it. But
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I remember being able to hear your TV before, but
yeah, I want to cut the TV off. I didn't think that was doing it.
it's not bad. I mean, but it's just, not clean. I like to have a good clean audio signal.
Yeah.
It was like 1977 here today. You know why? I went to the hobby shop today, and I was able to purchase a magician kit.
You're
An old
kidding.
magician kit. Honest to God. A guy dropped it off at the hobby shop, and he wanted to get rid of it. And I offered $60 for it, and he said I could have it. It was awesome.
What is it for? Just for changing over any engine, or was it for a certain?
No, it's a 1970s or 60s kit. I'll bring it up and show you guys.
Yeah, the Midwest kit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
48
Midwest,
inch?
but
Yeah.
a really old one, not the last one they put out, but an older one. The box is different. Hang on.
Oh, I thought you said ignition.
That's the 48-inch one, right?
Yeah.
What was the name of it?
Magician.
Oh, magician. I thought you said ignition kit. So I thought he was changing over an IC motor to ignition.
All right. Well, we lost Len completely, so he'll be signing back in now. And
Hey, Greg,
What?
your wife's going to kick your ass for invading her laundry basket and picking out all of her clothes.
No, I had to go buy my own.
smart man.
Yeah, then I got to keep her out of them.
That's
My
it.
mom used to get so mad when me and my brother were building, and we end up going into her damn laundry basket, or it's not a long damn thing hanging on the line. They had all the clothespins.
Yeah.
We'd reach in there and get out the damn clothespins. Oh man, she'd be mad.
Yeah, steal her pin cushions too. My mother used to get really mad at me and my brother. Where's my sewing pins? We don't know.
But in the wintertime, my mom still hung her laundry up. We had laundry lines in the basement. Even though we got a dryer and everything, sheets and stuff she still hung to dry. I don't know why, but she always did.
Okay, the magician.
Look at that.
All right.
Yeah, the real deal. I was
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's got silk span in it and everything. I was pretty tickled. Think I felt like a 15-year-old coming home from the hobby shop. Awesome.
Really?
Oh, hey, Greg, something you might not
But now
know.
I'm just-
When somebody's showing us something like Lynn is right now, you can tap or click on their little picture on the side of your screen, and it'll blow it up to fill the screen so you can see it. Now, I've got it manually done from my side. You can manually do it as well.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles may be old enough to remember that. Look at that kit, Charles. And welcome.
Oh yeah.
I remember that kid. I had one just like that.
Yeah, but did you
Is
buy
that
yours
awesome?
today?
No, I bought mine when I was a kid.
I bought.
When I was a kid, but I still have the
Yeah.
box.
Yeah, Lynn, tell them when you bought it.
When I
Glenn is
bought
nothing
mine,
but a big kid.
oh, you bet. I'm so excited I couldn't stop smiling all afternoon.
Oh, I bet.
That's so cool.
Oh, that's great, man. Oh, that's one of my favorite childhood kits. Yes, you
Look at that.
that.
Got
Oh, man.
the silk span and the plans and the whole bit. Man, I tell you, I'm just
That is
tickled
great.
pink with this.
Is that all die crunched?
Of course. We lost them.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
There went Lynn. Oh, well.
I built a couple of those. Oh, magicians are pretty good kits.
You
Yeah,
guys
I built
familiar
a
with
couple-
Denny Thomas?
There he's back. Almost.
There he is.
There he is.
There we go. Can't see me, but you can see the plans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice picture.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
keep
pretty
that up,
excited
Glenn.
about putting that together.
Very nice. Brings back memories. Very fond memories.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to
That's
put an OS-35 stunt in it. And it'll be just like 1975 all over again.
Sure will.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hopefully
I don't have a single picture of it, so I can't prove it. But I built my magician stock, and then after flying the wings off it, I refinished it and put a new tail in it, and I put the new
Right.
tail in all the way at the back of the fuselage. So I got an extra 2 or 3 inches of tail moment in it in the rebuild. And of course, that wouldn't be a bad thing for the magician at all. I always thought they were a little short in the tail. But I can't prove I did it, so it's not classic legal or anything like that. Just my memory. So
Yeah. Did you have flaps on yours, Dennis?
absolutely.
Yeah. Same here.
I've seen them without flaps, and people say they fly all right that way, but
I didn't have
that
any
wasn't the point.
success. I didn't have any success with my first one. With the movable flaps, did not do it any favors.
Mm-hmm.
I've flown a lot of them without.
Hey, I have a magician. Let's see if you can guess what I used for power.
Got a Fox 35?
Probably. That's what he uses in everything.
Yeah, I
I'll
used
tell you
a
what.
Super Tiger 35 in mine.
I
Your
always
magician?
knew. We were talking
Yeah,
about
my magician.
McCoys before. I always thought McCoys were the best engine on a side mount. They'd outrun a Fox, 6 ways from Sunday on a profile. I always
Yeah,
thought.
I bought a magician. I would do the same thing. I'm gonna go in a hobby shop, and a guy wanted to sell his old control line airplane. And he sold me a magician with a redhead Fox 35.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for $20. And I flew that until
Not
the
bad.
damn
Wow.
until the covering all started cracking and flying off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I broke the needle valve, and now to try to get a needle valve for one, because they were different. That redhead had a different needle valve than the regular
Yes,
Fox.
it did. It had the combat needle in it.
Yeah, so I got a Fox redhead with a broken needle valve. It didn't run. It was no stunt motor, I can tell you that. You had to.
Yeah, that was the sport combat engine. Let's see.
But it ran well. It was fast.
Oh, yeah.
But that didn't have flaps. I didn't know that magician even came with flaps on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was an
It has
option on the
flaps,
plan.
but most people don't use them. It's just an option.
Oh, okay.
They're very small. They're not very big, so they don't really do much.
Yeah, I didn't
I
know how
had
they
the
flew
flaps
without
on
that.
mine, but the problem I had with mine is the engine on the front was a little too heavy. I had an Enya 29 up front with a big Bisson muffler on it.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
So it was always a little bit nose heavy. But I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know any different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I had a Tatone muffler on my Super Tiger 35. It was the C35, not the
Not the ball bearing.
G21.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it was a flat piston, no baffle, if I remember correctly.
So that was a combat motor too then, was it?
Yeah, it was. It probably would have been a better combat motor, but I didn't know any different as a kid.
No, we didn't know. What did we know? We were just having fun.
I liked the motor. I liked the motor only because it was called Super Tiger. I thought the name Super
That's
Tiger
right.
was so cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, same thing with me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Did you,
Super
you
Tiger.
try
Yeah, my
translating all
first
the words?
engine.
I was going to say, did you try
What was that,
translating
Dennis?
all the Italian words on the box and everything too? But
No, but I just like the. Did it have a picture of a tiger on it also?
I
Might have had
don't.
a picture of a tiger.
I think there was on some of them. You're right. I
Yeah.
just remember the old kind of reddish, purplish
None of us.
boxes. I think they had a V on the box or something like that.
Yeah, they're that reddish and yellow.
Yeah.
Red
Then
and
they went
yellow.
with
That's
blue.
right. Red and yellow.
Then they went with blue and white. And
Yeah,
I
then they
always
went with
thought
two-tone blue and white.
Yeah, and then I always thought them were the best motors that they ever made with the blue and white box one. And then back to the red and white again.
Mm-hmm.
The best motor I've ever run is the one that wins the contest.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care
Now I
what it
hear
is.
White Rabbit playing in the background.
Yeah, I thought I heard a choir or something, or an angel singing.
Ah, that's Gray Slick. It's Jefferson Airplane.
Hey, Rusty.
Who's got
Yeah.
Jefferson Airplane on?
How come I got a black screen? All I have is the little icons on the side.
It'll come back. It's just bandwidth crapping out.
All right.
Greg, you listen to Jefferson Airplane?
Nope.
I hear White Rabbit clear as day.
Yeah, me too.
I don't even know what it is.
I can hear it too.
Is that
Yeah.
Naomi singing?
No, that's Gray Slick.
No.
singing.
She sings better than that.
We hear all kind of weird stuff on here, don't we? Voices from beyond. I've been screwing with my microphone settings. Do I sound okay to y'all?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you sound like Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Please, no. I do sound kind of hicky, but I think everybody says that when they listen to their own voice. I am from
I don't know. I think
South
everybody
Carolina.
hates the
Yeah, I
sound of their
agree
own
there.
voice.
I've gotten used
Yeah,
to
we all
mine.
do.
I just got a Central South Carolina accent. But I know proper grammar,
Hey,
even
Dennis,
though I
you like
don't
the sound
always.
of your own voice?
Yeah. It just say it surprises me when I hear myself in a recording or something like that.
Where the hell did it come from?
Yeah, me too. It's like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah.
I always thought it was my dad. I'm like, how the hell my dad get on this thing?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, your skull has a harmonic frequency that you're not used to hearing.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, when I started wearing, always had really severe hearing loss. I started wearing hearing aids when I was like 30 years old or something like that. And the first big shock was, well, yeah, I could hear things, but the second big shock is I could hear myself, which meant I started talking real softly because I thought, oh my gosh, there's no reason to shout here, you know. And it'd be in meetings or something
Nobody
like
else
that.
could hear
People
you.
say, hey, speak up, speak up. I said, what do you mean? I'm shouting, you know. So I actually had to train myself. I adjusted the volume by how hard I was pushing the air out of my chest. All right, I could feel it in my chest. And in fact, if I was doing a presentation, I'd turn down my hearing aids some and everything like that to try to be less conscious of it. But yeah, all a long way of saying it. Hearing the sound of your own voice is different. So
Yeah, you sound
I've always
smarter.
been a pretty
You sound
loud
smarter
speaker.
when you hear your own voice in your head.
Yeah, the voices I hear always sound better than when I say it out loud, right? So whatever. The
Yeah.
voices make more sense. So
Yeah, I occasionally ask the person next to me if
Yeah.
the voices in my head are bothering them.
maybe that's what where the echo's coming from, Rusty.
That might be.
Yeah, well.
Anybody building anything?
I'm doing ringmasters.
Yeah, Greg has been. He's.
I think I got myself a bad bottle of
like
CA.
crazy while we've been sitting here. So
Good for you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good for
Greg's
you.
got a nice work area there. Pretty cool little jig set up too.
I think that's a bad bottle. CA isn't supposed to be brown, is it?
no.
Not around here.
That's why it
No.
ain't sticking.
I need to put CA on my
That'll do
shopping list. It sucks that you can't buy thin CA anywhere but a modeler's hobby shop. I don't think you can get thin CA in any hardware store. It's all 5 second or faster, slower. Even at Lowe's or
Yeah, thin
Ace
CA.
Hardware, you can't get thin CA. Or Michael's, you can't even get thin CA there. I believe that
Thin
Hobby
CA
Lobby
is
can.
deadly.
Yeah, Hobby Lobby
Lobby's got it.
in their
But that stuff sucks. That stuff with the pink label, that's just crappy glue.
well, they say that
What's your
all CA
favorite
is
brand
the same.
CA, Roger?
It just depends on how old it is. That really doesn't.
Usually as it
depend on
ages,
the
it
brand.
gets thicker. Maybe that's what's wrong with Hobby Lobby's glue. It's old.
It's old, yeah. They were
Yeah.
saying that the
Now,
formula for CA is so close that if they're fresh, it works good.
Now, if the bottle's open, it gets thicker as it ages. But if it's still sealed, I guess it just
Yes, it does.
loses its ability to harden.
Yeah. I don't know. I've had
One
a
of the
couple
best
of
things
bottles.
you can do with CA is keep it in the fridge.
Yeah, I do that. I got some foam safe CA that I keep in the fridge because I hardly ever use it, but it's not as good as a regular thin CA. I don't
Well,
think.
the other thing you can do too is that if you put it in your freezer, it'll give you more working time. Like say if you're going to glue down sheeting, you can put it all on there. Yeah, and then wait it, and then it'll finally kick off once the temperature comes up on it.
Yeah.
Back in the day, hot stuff, it'd burn you because when it cures, it creates heat. Well, if you keep it at 0 degrees, it doesn't want to take off so fast. You can make medium work like thick.
I've got a little steel tray that I keep in my freezer and my mini shop fridge, and when I want some extra working time with epoxy, I'll use that to mix it on. I'll set it on top of a quilted, like a thermal insulated sheet of fabric, and mix it on that, and it gives you about twice the working time until it warms up. Then you got to put it back in the freezer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
CA works the same way for the
So in other
freezer.
words, 5.
Yeah. If I use all I've got 5-minute epoxy, and I pull that sheet of steel tray out of the freezer, it gives me at least twice as long of a working time, including mixing it.
That's awesome.
And yeah, works good. And I got a little
Cool.
something that looks like it came from thermal underwear, a couple of layers of that I set it on top of so the table doesn't heat soak it. So that helps too.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually even take your epoxy and stick it in the fridge, cool it down.
Yeah, I'll try that. I usually, for slower working epoxy for like 5 seconds, between 5 and 10, I use the Loctite brand. It comes in a little triangular bottle with a black twist cap, and that's really good glue. And it's made by Hinkle. If anybody's familiar with Hinkle glues.
Hinkle's good stuff.
Other than that, I use Bob Smith when I can.
Yeah, if you're gonna build a lot, you got to get the damn 4-ounce bottle from Hobby King for a couple bucks. And it's really good
I'd
glue.
never use that all up. Yeah, that'd go bad before I finished it.
Well, the
I've
other
been
thing you
going
can
through
do
slow
is
CA like crazy.
you can take the big bottles, keep them in your freezer, and when you need some, pour it in a smaller bottle.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too. That's true.
You know, Chris Rudd, now he uses pipettes. He doesn't. He undoes the top and then takes it out with that and uses it that way, and then keeps his stuff.
Yeah,
without
I've got some of those pipettes. I got some of those pipettes that I haven't used yet, and I think I can fit those little teeny pipettes that go on top of these bottles, like this. They go on top of these bottles. Those little
Yeah.
thin Teflon pipettes, and I think they'll fit on the tip of those big pipettes.
I hate those
Yeah, when
things.
we
They're
did
a pain in
Samantha's
the butt.
airplane, I mean, the one thing nice about it was the pipettes, you could really control the amount of glue.
Right. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah,
always
because
have a
that blue
problem with,
CA, it just pours out.
yeah.
It's bad.
But I haven't found a
The
place to
best
get
thing the
pipette.
blue CA is good for is they
what?
just clog up in a hurry. Use them once and they go in the garbage.
I've had building sessions where it seems like I'm spending 5 minutes unclogging bottles and 1 minute building, and then 5 more minutes unclogging and 1 more minute building, and
Oh, I know.
that got me.
It's a pain in the
I
butt.
got so frustrated with it. I
So-
started using. I really started using pipe bond after that. That's just like using.
Dennis, I think you need to reposition your microphone again.
All right.
Yeah, your microphone's, that's better.
Whatever.
I was at a swap meet, and I bought this syringe for glue, and it was, it said it was for alphatic glue. So I buy this thing, and I'm using,
Monoject?
I don't know, but this thing, it was made of metal, and it works so nice. And I get done with it, and I clean it all up, and stuff like that. And one night, Samantha and I were working on an airplane, and we were using it. Well, we had to do something, and I left it on the bench without cleaning it up. There's no ever getting that back apart. I tried to fucking acetone and this and that, and it fused that plunger inside of that damn case, that aluminum case, and it would not. But I love that
Acetone
thing.
won't do it. I don't think anything will. MEK might do it.
But yeah, I love that thing. You can put just really fine lines and dots and everything else with it. But I ruined it, and I've never seen another one.
The only applicator syringes I've
Funny
ever
how
bought
the
are
tool
those
we like.
plastic monoject syringes with the curved tip on them.
Yeah, I used to use those when I used a lot of alphatic resin. They were good.
Mm-hmm.
I use those to prime my engines. That one with the curve tip.
Yeah, I've done that
Oh, that's
before
neat.
too.
I'm too lazy to fill it and fiddle around with it.
Yeah.
I'd like to keep
I just grab my big syringe and
but
pick
they
a
He's talking
lot.
about these, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Amazon, you get them a case of 12 for $6.
That's awesome.
Good to know.
Yeah, I had a little primer bottle, and I forget where I bought that. And it was a really fine mist for priming. It was just another thing for me to misplace. I'd use it once and look for it for a week, and then I'd find it. And I'd use it again, and I couldn't find the damn thing. Other
Well, you know
people
what,
would find it laying in the grass.
Yeah.
You know what Sparky uses? He uses bottles of Visine, and he pours out the Visine and puts the fuel in there. And it's a great way of priming your engines with that Visine bottle.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a kind of a funny story. I spent the night at Sparky's house on the eve of us going to the Nationals, right? And I don't know if you noticed, but my eyelids get a little bit irritated, and they get kind of pink and red, you know. And so when we wake up in the morning, Sparky's telling me, unbeknownst to me, I didn't know he uses the Visine bottle for the priming bottle. But he looks at me and he goes, "We need to go to Walmart and get some Visine." And so I'm explaining to him, I haven't been smoking or anything, And I'm thinking he thought I'm high or something. But he uses the Visine bottle
It's the CA.
to fill the fuel.
Well, I was going to tell you, Charles, if you would have told me that trick back in my 20s, I'd have a lifetime supply of Visine bottles.
I remember in college, you could always tell when somebody had been using Visine because it would glow under a black light. And so everybody had black lights back then. And so you see them with bright yellow smears all over around their eyes.
Oh.
So I discovered an issue I have with my red Strega. One of my blind nuts on the engine bearers is compressing the engine bearer, and it's So I'm trying to think of ways of fixing it. I was thinking about just putting a piece of aluminum across the other side of the engine bearers, and then just we'll have the screws go through the engine bearers into the aluminum, and then maybe put a nut instead of having the blind nuts which are going through the wood. You have a better suggestion than that?
Is pulling it from the backside through?
Yeah.
You might take and drill that out and stick that wood insert and glue it in place.
Yeah.
And then put your screw back in that.
There never seems to be enough wood to accommodate the insert.
Yeah, that gets real uncomfortably close to the edge sometimes.
I don't know. They're only about a half-inch long, so you should have enough wood there.
No, I mean the width of the insert.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
hardly any wood.
Sometimes they are uncomfortably close to the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean, Charles? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay,
I guess I would suggest if you drill it out just a little bit and then put a piece of brass tubing one size bigger than the hole and use it like a truss tube to help protect it from both sides. Have a metal plate on top, and use it on the other, and then you have a tube in between that will help protect the wood from any further crushing.
Is that Jamie?
That's Jamie.
Danny, I can hardly understand what you're saying, man.
Yeah, can you repeat that, Dennis?
Okay, first off, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
All right. I was saying, drill your hole a little bit oversized, but then just go put a piece of brass tubing in it. That's one size bigger than your bolt. And you can probably do that without, coming out the side of the mouth, protect it from any crushing. So
Okay. And then use a blind nut again. So just cut that.
Well, no, your metal plate is like that. The thing my dad used to do, he started on profiles, frankly, or it was he.
I can't hear part of what
We
you're
lost
saying,
your
Dennis.
sound, Dennis.
I tell you what, I think I'm having trouble with my hands. So let me just unplug this completely.
Yeah, we lost your sound.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can
That
hear you
was
now.
good.
Going back to the old school thing. Instead of the aluminum plate, my dad used to use brass plate underneath the main stake, and he would drill in the captain for the engine and pull on the whole plate. You know, when you're tightening the motor and stuff, that would just leave you stacking up a nut and everything like that. They used to use those before areas and line nuts. They used to use these plates with the crack holes in them. So, aluminum is, I mean, you can copy, but if it's only an 8-inch thicker side, it's not much of a problem. And, you know, so.
Your microphone's euchred.
Yeah. Between the echo and the microphone, we're not getting it.
Still not hearing me. All right.
Now we can hear you fine.
Now we do.
Keep holding your hands up like that, Dennis. You must be like the antenna.
Yeah.
No,
Keep your hands up, we can hear you.
in the laptop. I'm not even sure where it's located.
You sound like your microphone's underwater.
All right.
Part of the problem is all the background noise.
Tell you
You
what,
get so much background noise that it's
I'm gonna try
making it
something
worse.
else. I want to go disappear for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Jamie, can you hear me? I don't think you can.
We hear
Where'd Jamie
you.
go?
How the hell have you been?
Somebody just.
Oh, we lost him.
I've been all right.
Hey, Jamie,
Hey.
what's going on, man?
Oh, not a lot. Just trying to figure out this new gypsy stuff that y'all using.
Not much to figure out once you get in. We're having a little audio trouble tonight with everybody. We got an echo going on in the background. Can't
Did
seem to
that
stop.
start before I got in? Or?
Yeah, it's been going on all night.
Well, it's good to see you.
I hear everything everybody says twice.
How's the kids doing?
Somebody
Well, your
might have
shop
their
looks like you've been up to
microphone
doing
turned up
stuff.
too loud. Everybody turns their speakers down a little bit. We might eliminate it. I've had speakers too loud cause it too.
Okay.
Just a little. I know it's not Lynn. I know it's not Jamie. I know it's not Charles.
That's all I need to know.
All right, Dave.
How do you turn the speaker down? Settings.
I'll be back.
I can just reach up to my speaker and turn the knob down. But I'm on an old computer and not a laptop, though. You can do it down there at the taskbar icon.
You know, regarding Dennis, I understood the brass pipe, but I didn't understand what he's talking about. Blind nut, you think too, or a regular nut? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and I'm not
Aluminum,
sure that
but-
would. I don't see how that would fix it anyway, because you'd still be having the problem with it being too close to the edge. You're talking about too close to the edge, right? And not.
No, I mean right now my problem is that that I'm pulling the blind nut through the backside. That's not the problem with the edge. I was talking about the edge with the inserts. If I put an insert in, I'm not sure if it would hold because it'd be so close to the edge. But what Dennis is talking about is just putting a pipe in there. so that blind nut can't compress against it.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the
that's idea.
blind nut would compress against the brass instead of the wood. But if you're using rock balsa, rock maple, and that's strong enough.
Yeah,
where you
I don't
shouldn't-
understand the nut pulling through the maple.
Well, who
Yeah, it
knows?
doesn't
Maybe it's
sound
not maple. This is my R that has 500
Oh.
slice on it.
It could
It
be
ain't
that
maple.
the head broke off of that acorn nut or whatever they call that thing.
That's
And
what
it
they
could be
call
some
it.
exotic wood, not even maple. It's probably not maple.
What I'm guessing. I'm guessing it's not maple.
Yeah, and I
That's
bet
what
you
the problem probably
the
is.
head broke off from the straight part, and you're pulling the straight part through. There's no head holding it anymore.
I get you. Yeah, I bet you that's what's happening.
I think
No, when I
so
looked
too.
at it, I remember seeing the head is intact. You know.
Yeah, but the threaded part might not be attached to the head still.
Right.
I'll double check.
Since everybody turned their speakers down, the echo's gone.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
That worked good.
I don't know how to turn my speaker down.
Either do I.
You got a
I'm
task
gonna
bar
admit
at the bottom where the volume control is? Are you on a Windows computer,
What?
Keith? Are you on a Windows computer?
Yeah, I thought you meant the microphone.
No, the speakers.
Yeah, I got my speakers turned down halfway. I always keep it there, but
Yeah.
okay.
If your speakers are too loud, it'll feed back through the microphone sometimes. But it seems to have cleared up.
Good.
Well, the one thing I did do was go to settings, and on the microphone I put it to communication instead of default.
Nice one.
You guys hear how quiet it is now?
Yeah, it's quiet now.
It's awesome.
I muted Greg.
Oh. Okay.
So Dennis, you mind try it again?
Yeah, but
I think I
it
can
was
hear you
doing
this
it. It was
First
doing
off-
it before Greg got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it got really crystal clear now.
Yeah. First off, can you hear me better now?
Way better.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely
All right.
dramatically better. I'm so sorry. I have you repeated 3 times.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, we're
not only get a refreshment, but to describe my super device here. This is just a brass plate,
Okay.
actually about
Yeah.
90, maybe a tenth of an inch thick. I don't think it's even a full 1/8.
Okay.
And
All right.
drilled and tapped 440. Dad, he had these made up for like all the engines that are running in profiles. You know, it was so great when he worked at Generous Motors. He'd have time on. He was one of the tool makers. Basically, did a lot of machine repair and stuff between jobs and stuff. He made airplane
Right.
parts.
Wow.
yeah.
But
I use those.
got a couple of dozen of these laying around. They still come in handy for this and that. But you used to put this on a profile before blind nuts or anything like that. Bolt the engine up with these on the backside, of course, and spread out the load really good. And if
Makes
you were really anal about it, you could put a lock nut, a plastic, one of those nylon lock nuts
Yeah,
on top of
nylon.
that.
Yeah, a nylon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
What a great idea.
You're good for life, and it really worked good on profile. He actually built some airplanes with those before blind nuts, were readily available and stuff. So.
All right.
But anyway,
So you think
if you're going to get an aluminum plate, if you could use something like brass instead, it'll hold the shred, I think, better than the aluminum would. That was the only reason. Yeah, the aluminum. If you made that same plate in aluminum, you tighten it up and you probably strip it right out. So you can make it in well, heck, if you make it in steel, I suppose it'd be even better. But
Yeah, I can't imagine you're pulling the whole head through that piece of wood. I have a feeling that head broke off of the stem and you just can't see it. Because to pull something that big through a piece of hardwood, even if it's not rock hard. I mean, it seems like it would crack the wood first. You could tighten it.
Yeah, or strip the threads.
Right.
But does the bolt come out clean? I mean, will it come right
Yeah.
out, or? Okay, so it's not like it's turning in the hole or anything like that. It's just literally crushing in, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's just crushing in.
Wow. Yeah, I'm with Steve. I can't. I'm hard to imagine that happening. You know, on just one nut. None of the ones next to it.
Just one of the 4. Yeah, just one.
Huh?
Okay.
That's weird.
Well, you can
Yeah,
get it if
yeah.
you can get inside of it. Put some CA on it. Wick some damn thin CA to it, and
I'd cut open the top and have a look and see what's going on. Just glue a piece of crap back in there and cover it over.
Yeah, I am.
I wouldn't worry
the top off because it's a built-up ship, so I got to cut the top off.
Yeah,
But
just cut in. Just cut in. It'll only take you a few hours and it's fixed, but it's fixed right then.
yeah, I'm gonna probably use either a brass or a steel plate, like what Dennis showed
Great
me.
idea. Oh, awesome idea.
Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't even need a full piece, a double threaded brass piece. You could just stick a little piece of square on there.
Well, the cool thing about having it with 2 holes on it is that it won't turn or anything like that. You get one in it,
Right.
and then it doesn't
That's a
turn.
good point.
And of course,
That's a good point.
but to Steve's point, if you have it glued and you got the wood around it and stuff like it, probably wouldn't turn either. But so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I like that idea. I thought if I asked, I might get a good idea, and I did. So that's great. Because I was thinking about aluminum, and I was thinking about how I could secure the blind nut to the aluminum, but to tap it, should be sufficient.
Yeah, you could probably try if you used aluminum and a blind nut. You might be able to drill a couple little holes around the blind nut where the feet stick through.
Yeah.
And then use a JB weld or something like that, so it kind of.
That's a good idea.
The feet are there; it'll keep it from turning.
Yeah.
All right. So again, the only other problem then is that you get to the point where the plate, you got to make sure it doesn't stick in so far that it's hitting the engine block or something like that. When you drop it. Of course, by then you're in the half round part of the engine. May not be a problem anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be too. You're so oil soaked on that wood that it's.
Yeah, it's a rear exhaust motor. It's most of the exhaust goes back to the underside of the rudder. It's one paper towel.
It's probably pretty clean around the motor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oil penetrates like you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have oil
right.
that comes out of the front bearing, and usually you'll have a little bit that comes out of the venturi. If you watch a motor, that's why they put the real long ones on there, because you get that back flash of fuel. They'll suck it back in, but
Is that why they have long and tall venturis? I didn't know why they use tall venturis. It's always been a curiosity too for me.
Yeah, one reason is the shorter the venturi, you get that when the engine comes around, it'll actually blow fuel out of your venturi, depending on the timing and stuff.
Interesting.
I just built a new crutch today for my for my new Windy Cardinal. I don't know if you can see how I did the blind nuts. I'll move it up really close.
Excellent.
So what I did is I just recessed the heads so that they're flush with the top of the motor mount, so that there's no blind nut sticking up at all. And that way when I glue it to the fuselage, I can put the mounts right at the very top of the fuselage, and they're attached to the block as well on the top.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Neat idea.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it turned out really well, and I've got the pads all made up and so forth. So, yeah, it's coming along.
Yeah, I learned that
Nice pads. Nice
I
color.
leave the screws
Thank
in
you.
it with Vaseline because
Yep.
I put the top block on and glued up all of my threads on my blind nuts and couldn't
Right.
run the damn screws in them.
Oh, you got to be careful. You got to be careful all the time with blind nuts and screws. You can't get any glue in there.
Yeah.
What I do when I install my blind nuts, what I do is I recess with a Forstner bit. I recess the top of the mount
Right.
about a 1/16 of an inch or a little less, so that the blind nut
Right.
ends up flush with the top of the mount. Then what I
Right.
do is I tap the blind nut very gently with a hammer, so it's just starting to go into the wood. Then I mix some
Okay.
epoxy up with a toothpick, and I go all around the outside of the blind nut. And then I hit each blind nut with the hammer and set it with the epoxy between the blind nut and the wood.
Right.
And
Very
then what I
good.
do is I just rub the excess around the outside of the nut flush and rub it right off, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of a gap between the blind nut and the mount all the way around the outside of it as well, and the epoxy fills that little gap right in.
That's cool.
Both between the nut and the wood and between the nut and the wood on the edge as well. It works good.
Hey,
And then what I
Lynn,
do is just put, yeah,
what blind nuts do you use? Dubro or Brodax? What blind nuts do you use?
I use the old Dubro ones that are thicker. They're a thicker blind nut. They're a thick wall as opposed to a thin wall blind nut.
Mm-hmm.
I can probably show you the difference. They're very different. The newer ones with the big heads are thin wall blind nuts. They're very thin and they strip out very easily. Whereas the
Yeah.
old Dubro ones are thicker and they give you much more material to bite.
Have you ever bought the Brodax blind nuts?
Yeah, I
They
don't
are
like them
really
because
not.
they're the thin wall.
Yeah, but the
I'll show.
threaded part is a lot longer than the other Dubro. You know, the part that's threaded.
Yeah, it's
That
long.
part is it's long. I mean, it's a lot of threads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the spikes are longer as well. I thought when I came across the Brodax blind nut, I thought, wow, this is the real deal. This is a
Yeah,
nice blind
my
nut.
only concern with them is the fact that the actual wall that's coming up in that tube is very thin, whereas the Dubro one's really thick. I'll bring one of each up and show you the difference.
All right, sure.
I did something on just one airplane that I thought was kind of cool, and in the end may not have been worth much. But I drilled made the crutch, drilled for the motor. But when I drilled it with a tap drill, 440 tap drill, number 42 or whatever it was. Soaked the hole with
Right.
CA. All right. Flipped it over, buried the blind nuts the way I normally would. Right. Glued them in place and everything. And then I came up through the backside with a tap through the blind nut, and I tapped the wood. All right, the wood. I had only had it with a tap, so in effect, I had threads. I had the blind nut on the bottom, but I had threads the whole length of the mount.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I like that.
Yeah, and what it seemed kind of cool that it. I think it behaved kind of like a plastic insert nut. It was kind of like the thread through the wood wasn't as free as the thread through the metal and stuff, and I think it helped clinch it a little bit. And then I suppose it was feasible that as you tighten things down, the metal pulling into the wood, it might have like compressed just a little bit, and that would have been a kind of a little bit of locking action too. At least that's what I convinced myself of. And I don't know, I thought it worked pretty good, but I think I put the engine in once and I never took it out, so I'm not sure how good it is, But anyhow,
That's a good idea. I like that, especially the
yeah,
idea of the CA
one of
to
those things
harden
when
up
you're
the
lying around
thread.
what could I do better or different or something like that. So there was a time when we used to make the last several airplanes I built way back, we had so much trouble with blind nuts and wood mounts and everything like that. We finally settled on. My dad was making aluminum motor mounts. All right. Think of a traditional motor mount beam, what 6 or 8 or 10 inches long or something like that, and he would mill them out to a thin walled C section, drill holes like you normally do, and we glue a piece of plywood to the side on the glue side, if you will, with a couple of set screws holding it in place, and basically treat it like a wood mount. Well, when we went to drill and tap the mount, the engine was tapped like through the full aluminum mount. So you want to talk about tight engines? Tightening down the engine. You can tighten it down, and baby, there was none of this spongy. Say tighten up. No, it just locked right down. And
Wow.
the mounts never crushed or anything like that. They were fantastic. And he got them to where they were pretty light and everything like that. You keep removing material. But in the long run, we liked it a lot better than wood mounts, mostly because they wouldn't crush, but also because it was really a confidence builder when you could tighten the engine down and you knew it was tight. You had no crushing
Exactly.
wood in there or anything like that. So,
Well, this Strig is an ARF, and I actually mistakenly used all the original blind nuts, and so I've over the course of the years have stripped every one of those
wow.
cheap blind nuts that came with it and replaced it with a good quality blind nut. That engine mount is, and I also have moved the engine a couple times. So my engine bearers have suffered a lot of abuse.
Mm-hmm. Hello,
Hell, for
John.
all you know, the engine mounts might be that good old dark brown, so-called hardwood that Top Flight used for their Noble.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's some exotic wood. I don't know.
Exotic, yeah.
Bonsai tree.
Yeah.
Balsa's pretty exotic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Balsa's exotic. Balsa is pound for pound stronger than a lot of things we would think it's not.
Well,
Yeah,
it's funny.
that's probably rock balsa your Straga's made out of with the motor mounts.
All in all, I haven't heard that many. I don't know if I've heard a lot of problems with Brodak motor mounts and the ARFs or anything like that. Maybe I just haven't been listening hard enough. But have you guys heard that?
No,
I
I
haven't had
haven't
it.
heard anything.
Yeah, the biggest thing I built when I first got back when I came back in 07, I had a Brodak R4 Oriental just to get airborne while I was finishing off some stuff. And when I drilled the mounts, the wood was the sweetest smelling wood I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
and
I don't know what kind
each
it
one of
was,
my
but
motor mounts, each one of my motor mounts smelled different. One of them smelled like mouthwash.
okay.
I swear.
Well, that's what they usually make toothpicks out of, but they made motor mounts instead.
Well, maybe. Maybe, I don't know, but whatever it was like, what the heck is this stuff? But
Mouthwash mixing barrels. Who
Yeah.
knows?
that's it. That's it.
When Nick gets back, I'd like to find out his method of drilling 4 perfectly vertical holes. That's when I got back in the hobby, that caused me the most apprehension was getting all 4 holes straight and vertical.
Hey,
I made
John,
a
you see
drill
mine?
guide for that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Drill guide.
Hey,
Yeah,
Denny, you got your CAT scanner.
I have a I have a rectangular brass bar. It's 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch on each side, about 6 inches long. And I first got it as just something to pound on, like to knock gears off a transmission shaft or something you can grip another piece of metal with. But I still use it for banging on things. But if I'm gonna, but I drilled a bunch of holes through it of different sizes in order of drill bit, like the 6 smallest drill bits that I'm going to use, and I I know that they're vertical because I leveled my drill press. Everything was level on that, and so I put from 1/16 on up past an eighth to a quarter inch, I guess, and I, if I'm going to use it for a guide, I just take it to the grinder and knock the mushrooms off of each end of the bar so they don't hold it crooked, and then lay it across whatever I'm going to drill a hole into, and it'll bore straight, uh, uh, perfectly vertical holes all the way through.
Okay. Yeah, I know Jim Lee. He has all kinds of drill guides for different motors.
Hmm.
I think they're about $22 a piece.
That brass bar was just a piece of scrap I picked up off the floor at the machine shop I worked at.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I don't know. I just
I've
thought,
had it, and I used it for working on hot rods and stuff. Just for transferring impact from a hammer to another metal object that I didn't want to destroy, and works good. But yeah, just knock the mushrooms off the end of it, and I've got my guide holes drilled all up and down it. So works fine, lasts a long time.
Rusty, you worked any more in that Cardinal?
No, it's still waiting for me to finish the Hyper Viper. I was out there doing a little more shaping on the air scoop, but it's been nasty outside. I had to vacuum water off the shop last week, and it was cold and windy, and so I hadn't had much time to spend out there. I had to go out yesterday to get a box of something out of the biscuits out of the freezer, and sat down at the table and fooled with it a little bit, and felt the pangs of wishing I had an hour or two to spend on it. So the weekends here is supposed to be in the 50s and clear. So hopefully I can report some progress on Monday. I'm not far from gluing it back together, but that's the way it's been for a freaking year now. So
yeah. Well, you've had,
So
shall we say, other things to work on. So
there was 2 people talking. I couldn't understand what you said.
I was just going to say, in the last year, you've had bigger things to look to work on than the Cardinal. So
Bigger fish to fry. No kidding. Yeah,
so
boy, I tell you what, I don't know. I'm sure y'all can tell I feel a whole lot better now than I did, though. I was
That's
slogging through
awesome.
these shows, just barely able to hold on, and now I'm sitting here talking and pretty happy. So, yeah, a big
Yeah, very
difference.
good. That's awesome.
hmm
Hey, Charles, I've got these blind nuts here.
Yeah, show them to
Now,
me.
what I've got, you were mentioning about the Brodak ones being a lot larger, and I have the Brodak 632 ones, both, and I have the Dubro 632. I also have the 440, but I'm going to hold up the 632 to show you the difference because they're
Okay.
easier to see. They're a little bigger. So here's a
Alrighty.
Brodak. I wonder if Rusty can put me up full screen.
you are.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
good.
So there,
well, hang
so
on.
there's
That
a
stuff is making noise.
there's a Brodak blind
There
nut.
we are.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
here is a Dubro blind nut. Look at the difference in the wall thickness of the front of the nut.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see
Now,
it.
if I turn them sideways,
I can't
that
see
is
anything except your name tag that says Lynn.
yeah. Well, that's just
I see it perfectly
that's just
fine.
an old work shirt. But yeah,
Yeah, I see the difference.
the
Okay.
thickness of the wall of the actual threaded part is huge on the Dubro one. This one here, whereas the other
I
one's
see.
very thin. See how thin it is?
Yeah, I see it. I just was impressed with the length the number of threads. I thought that would be beneficial.
Yeah, there's more threads, but it's a thinner wall tube, so I tend to like the other ones, but that's just me.
I'm not
That's it.
seeing anything. Are you holding it in front of the camera?
Yeah, I'm holding it right up
Now
in
I
front of
see
me.
it. There we.
Okay.
Now it's off camera to my left.
Hang on, I'll hold up. I'm going to hold up the
There you go.
440s now.
Now I can see it.
They're a little smaller.
Yeah. That's in front of the camera. Okay. That's a 632 and a
Yeah.
440.
No, it's two 440s,
No.
but the bigger one
Oh.
is, this one here is a Brodak one. The other one is a Dubro. And the wall thickness is very much bigger on this one, but the length on this one is longer. See what I mean? There's a big
Yeah.
difference in the length. The length on the Dubro one is longer. If I turn them sideways, there you go.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the length on the Brodak one is longer.
And even
That's
the
a big
tangs on the
difference.
Brodak is longer. See, I was
But the
impressed
other
with the,
thing is the prongs are longer, but the actual head is so much bigger that how do you put it into the wood? It's going to be overhanging by a ton. Look at the
yeah, I
size
just
of it.
file it down.
I guess so, but then you're weakening it quite a bit. And you're probably only holding on by two prongs, whereas with this one, I'm holding on with all three prongs because I can get the
That's a
whole
very
thing
good
into the
point.
wood.
That's a very good point, Lynn.
So this one
Yeah.
has a thicker wall thickness, and I'm getting all three tines into the wood. Whereas this one, I can only get two tines into the wood, and it's a very thin
And one.
wall threaded part.
Right. Very good.
Okay, just something to think about, guys. Like
Yeah.
I've never used these to mount a motor because the head on them is so big and the tines are so far apart. I can't get it in. I can't get it. Like it would be overhanging into where my motor goes.
That's the problem
Right.
I have. I've had to
that's-
grind the edges off before.
Yeah. So that's why I use the
I'll get
Dubro
some from
ones.
Brodak then.
Because with the Dubro ones here, you can see I didn't grind anything off.
Yep.
And all three
Right.
tines are right into the wood. Now that's a 3/8
Nice
by
and
5/8 motor mount. And what I do is I turn it so that one tine is here, the other tine is there.
Yeah. That's
That
got
way
a lot
they
of
bite,
good
both
wood.
of those ones bite, and then the other one is right at the top.
Yep.
I got another question for you regarding this crutch.
Yeah.
Problems I've had, not all the time, but let's say you drill 4 perfectly straight and perpendicular holes, and
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you whack the blind nut in, right?
Well, what I do is let me finish. What I do is I put an 1/8" hole right through. Okay. And then on the back where the blind nut goes, I put a 532 hole, an 1/8 deep.
Right.
So that way, when you go to recess the blind nut, the head of the blind nut sinks right into the hole without crunching the wood.
Right. I understand. Yeah. I'm watching windy videos. I learned that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the drill size I use is a number 22 to put the blind net, and I use a number 22, and I think for the other side is 32 or something. But my question is I've had instances when I got everything right, and then all of a sudden, when it's all said and done, maybe one of the blind nuts went in cockeyed or something. You know, it's just
when I hit them with the hammer, I hammer them until they are perfectly flat. When they go all the way down, they have to land flat when they get to the bottom. They can't be cockeyed.
Right.
Well, if you're worried about them going in cockeyed too, the other thing you can do is just pull them in with a screw.
Yeah, you can do that too. That works. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
You know, myself, I prefer threaded inserts. I've used them for years.
I use those too.
I set them in. And I screw them in. I use a washer and a screw, and I start them in the hole, and then I put some meat epoxy around it. I've got some not grease, Vaseline on the washer
On the
and the
inside.
screw.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I can screw it in and break it loose. If I screw it all the way down and the washer gets it flush with the top, and what's nice is when I pull the engine down on it, it won't crush the motor mounts because it's resting on top of the threaded insert.
Exactly.
But
Well,
like
we
what
were
you
talking about that
found,
earlier, John. Do you have any trouble with the threaded insert breaking through the side of the mount?
not
Because
if
it's too close
I
to the edge?
depends on which one I use. There's one that's larger than the other, and it just takes too big a hole for a 440 screw.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one, and I forget the manufacturer, but there's another one that's about 1/3 the size of it, and it doesn't break through the other side.
I have
Also,
had
I've
that
seen they're
problem
about a
too.
1/4 inch in diameter.
yeah, I also use epoxy to set it in, so it makes it pretty strong.
Yeah, it is. I use Dubros, I think. I have
So
had it too close to the edge before, but usually it's acceptable.
Yeah, the thing is, when I'm
On a
using big
profile,
motors,
is the brand what brand insert is that, John? Is it Dubro or some other
I
brand
think
for the insert?
I think it's Dubro that's the smaller diameter.
Hmm.
Okay.
yeah, that's the ones that work for me. The Dubros. That's what I always use.
And you're able to use those without busting through the side of the mount?
Yeah, I've
Yep.
been closer than I liked a couple of times, but generally, yeah, it goes in and has wood all the way around it sufficiently.
Mm-hmm.
because you can see on this, I have about 1/8 of an inch of wood all the way around,
Mm-hmm.
like at
Yep.
the edge. I have lots of space there. And when I'm using a big motor like a 76 or a 77, I want lots of wood there. I don't want something that might be too close to the edge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same here.
Well,
I don't want to eat the big motor. I do not want
Well,
to eat that motor.
Now, if you're building a full fuselage and you want a little engine offset built in, that might end up being a problem with two of them being one up and one down, being too close to the edge. But on a
Yeah.
profile, it's not a problem at all.
No, that's true.
I just
Okay,
wedges. I use aluminum wedges underneath the
right.
engine on
Mhm.
profiles.
Yeah, I have the pads as well. I just haven't put them on this yet.
I mean, I've even tried the Allen head wood screws and never had a problem. Just
drill
screw.
a
For
little
half
power
eight,
hole.
servo screws work well.
Pardon me?
For half A,
You drill a
servo
little pipe.
screws work pretty well. Well, the ones with the built-on washers
Yeah, but
and the hex heads.
but to
But I
shear
know y'all
off
aren't talking.
to shear off one of them screws, the kind of power you would have to have would just be unbelievable.
Are you talking about putting the motor in with screws instead of bolts?
Yeah, just a wood screw.
I would
Yeah.
never do that. There's
I've
no
only
way.
done it on half.
I wouldn't do it. I would do it
I've
once,
only
but if
done it
once
on
you
half
take
A.
those screws out, I wouldn't put them back in again.
You can harden up with CA and put the screws back in. They don't pull out. I mean,
Yeah, but he's talking about reusing them.
right, and it'll just put a little more CA in there and run them down in.
No
But
way.
take,
I wouldn't
take a
try
wood
that.
screw, take
I'd
a
be
wood
too scared.
screw, drill a hole, put it in, and try to pull that wood screw out of there. Put it in
No,
a vice
but
grab
that's
it
not
with a pair of
that's
vice
not
grips.
the issue. My issue is when I'm turning a 14 or 15 inch propeller, and I've got a small little four little wood screws holding my motor in. I can't do that. No, I'm
I
too
would
afraid
never
to
do
try
it.
that.
Make you
No,
a little
I wouldn't do it.
squeamish, Len?
Oh yeah, I couldn't do it. There's no way. I'm
Well,
not
I'd
gonna
never
bolt
do it on a
Pete,
plane that
Pete,
big
you haven't
either.
used that on a 75, have you?
Yeah, I'm not gonna bolt a Rojet 67 or a Kaz 77 in the front of an airplane with four little screws. It's not gonna happen.
Go
I don't-
electric.
I wouldn't either.
I'd be petrified.
Go electric, Lynn.
I've done it with the
I've
electric.
only used
Yeah, the
screws
Prodac
like that on
Gladiator
half
Yeah,
acre
but the
Gladiator
thing
engines.
is,
it's got
but
wood
let's
screws
be
on the
honest,
motors in it.
electrics run a lot smoother.
Mhm.
They don't chug.
Yeah.
Shit, here we go.
I like the idea that the electrics run so much smoother and cause a whole lot less vibration on your airplane. I understand that fully.
Yeah. Well, I think, Len's other point, even with an electric, if you're going to take a wood screw in and out several times, you're changing the motor a lot or something like that, then you better be doing like Steve said and redressing that hole every now and then to make sure that
Yeah,
it's still tight. But
Well,
yeah,
that idea, whenever you're drilling, putting anything into the holes, the CA really helps a lot. I think it's a good idea, even if you're not tapping it. It's kind of a
yeah.
fuel proofing thing. As like I say, that oil gets everywhere. How can it get under the engine, through the bolts, through the threads? Well, it's going to be there. Trust me on that, right?
it
It
will.
always happens.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd want to protect the wood wherever I could on that. And I think the CA would seal the wood at least, even if it wasn't truly fuel proof or something like that. It would keep the oil from seeping.
Well,
Epoxy is my number one sealer for oil.
Yeah,
I use
yeah.
epoxy, and
Nothing else.
then you use heat to get it out. You heat your ball driver with the soldering gun, and then unscrew it when it's hot, so it'll come right out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
that's just like I was watching this thing on wood glue, and the guy was gluing 2x4s together with different wood glues, and then ripping them apart. And the glue is so strong it tears wood.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So how strong do you need glue? Just stronger than the wood it's glued to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think if wood glue will tear 2x4s apart, what would it do to balsa wood?
Yeah.
I mean, how much force do you really need? And I forget, my brother was telling me to get the full strength of a screw or something, you need 3 threads or 4 threads in something will give you the full rating of that screw from being pulled out, which I didn't believe. But if you look, when they figure that, that's all they figure. But I've seen people actually do what Dennis did, drill and tap wood, see it, and just thread a regular screw, 440 screw into wood. And you'd
A
be
machine screw.
surprised how strong that is.
Okay, and to be sure, Steve, when I did that, I also
I know
had the steel
you put
laying
it
out.
back, but
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen people do it without that.
Because actually, if I was going to tap it directly into the wood, I wouldn't have used a 440 tap screw. I would have used something like a number 4 wood screw with a bigger, deeper threads in it and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that would
That
work
would
for
grab a
sure.
lot harder, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you want some meat in the threads.
yeah. But again, I used to do that with my RC airplanes with the bolt-on wings and stuff. You do that on the wing bolts on the blocks. If you soak them with CA, tap them, soak them with CA, tap them again to clean them out. Do that a couple of times. You can get a block that'll hold the block. The threads in the block are stronger than the nylon screw holding the wing on. So that's about all it has to be. The first shock I ever had is the first time I mounted using wood screws, used an RC mount, those nylon mounts, and I used wood screws to hold the motor to the mount. And I'm thinking to myself, is that going to work? That doesn't look right. I've always used tap screws and nut backing nuts and everything like that. And no, just use the screws. Damned if it didn't work. It worked just fine. And you can just, you can pull the engine and reinstall it and everything like that.
Yeah,
Well, that nylon's better than wood, I'm sure, as far as holding threads, but still, it's the first time I ever used wood, or I should say self tappers, whatever you want to call them. First time I ever used them to mount an engine, and it turns out just fine. So.
Yeah, it works. I've seen people do it. I've never did it on a 60 size, but I've done a lot of 40s.
Yep.
Never had a problem with it, the motor coming off.
Nope.
Actually, I had less problems with them loosening up doing it that way than I have with with blind nuts.
Mhm.
You know, because you almost have to put in thread locker on them to keep them from vibrating loose.
Yeah. And I use mark washers too.
Mhm.
Now, does everybody use how do you call it, a hole jig to get those 4 holes correct, or do they just do it by sight?
I do it with a drill press. I want to drill a square hole, I use a drill press.
You know.
All right.
The other
I
thing
don't
you
have a
can do,
drawing.
Charles, is Great Plains makes a little drill it slides down a tube with a little V in it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
And you
have
can
that.
Yeah.
and just but you have to use a drill press because if you don't, then you're not going to get them square.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can do it now, but I'm just saying it took me some time to get my technique where it's pretty good now. But I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, you know, and I've just
If
learned from my mistakes. And
if you're mounting the same kind of engine all the time, maybe something like Jim Lee's $22 mounting block isn't such a bad investment, though.
Right.
You know.
I'm actually thinking about that. I'm actually kind of settling on the Stalker 81, um, and I have a couple K77, so that might be the engines I will be using for my big planes, of course. Stalker 81 and the K77. So I might
Well,
invest in a
if you get the one for like the LA 46, that'll cover the
yeah.
LA. That'll cover all Inyas. It covers the new Foxes, the PAs, the road jets. They all use that same mounting plate.
Okay.
Super Tigers are different, and I don't know about the K77, what spacing and stuff they use on that. But on that one airplane that I had a Fox bolted to it, Inyas, OSs, and a road jet. They all bolt right in the same exact holes.
Oh, that's great.
They kind of standardize that. So if you get that one from Lee, it covers a lot of different. That, or if you get like an old OS box, it comes with a cardboard one, and you can lay that down on a piece of metal and make you one that lasts longer.
That's a
Yeah,
good
but
idea.
that won't help him make it square. That'll get the right position. But he's looking for basically a drill guide, so that hole goes straight up and down. You can mount it. You could drill it virtually with a handheld drill. You could drill a square hole
Yeah.
with that thing. So
Yeah.
so
Now my Stalker 81 and my K77, I wish they were the same length. So I have to have they're not. I can't swap out engines easily because one's longer, one
Oh,
is be
yeah.
further back to get the spinner against the nose ring. I have to move the engine back and forth. I'm not sure which one's longer than the other. Maybe the Stalker 81's longer, and the K77. I'd have to use a prop extension to get it to where the K Stalker 81 is at.
Yeah, that's why Wendy used that pinch method, slide it around.
Yeah, and I've used that too before. That's a pretty neat system too.
But we always pin ours, get it where we wanted it, put a piece of music rod pin in the front holes, and then clamp it down. Otherwise, that thing will finally move its way out. I don't care how tight you get it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
well, yeah. I never used that setup mount like that, but I always figured if I did, I would. I have to do that. I mean, it's just a disaster waiting to happen without that. So.
Well, my brother had that Warhawk, and that had the pinch mount.
Mm-hmm.
We got it all mounted in there and spinning around and stuff. Flew it a couple times. Motors pointed down, slid out. It's like shit. Brought it back home and we drilled and pinned it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the way the Cardinal Arfs came from Brodak with that clamp.
Yeah. You could get up thrust out of the motor, down thrust out of the motor after you flew it a few times. We could never get that thing to hold it.
You're
Well,
supposed to put it.
actually, Charles, that might help you out of your problem, though. If you want to trust the clamp mount on a 77 or an 81, is you could probably put different pins in for the different engines, take care of the overall length problem.
Yeah.
That is a good idea. If I want to
Maybe
swap out,
pin it to the front holes on the 77 and the back holes on the 81 or something like that, so the holes don't interfere with each other.
that's a good idea.
Well, just remember, this is the electric guy suggesting it too. So,
Hey, Carter,
Yes.
just a little heads up for you. You know, I've got a big profile I'm going to be building here this before spring, and I picked
cool.
up a Stalker 51 side exhaust for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think Steve said that the Stalker 51 is the best motor. Is that right, Steve?
Yeah, I still say it's the best stunt IC motor there is for a muffler. You don't got to play with whatever. It has so much power. It's just hard to believe.
Well, that's true. The 51 is a really good motor, but so is the 40 if you run it right. And the 61, the 66, the 81. I don't know about the 74. I never had one of those.
We couldn't get the 61 and was it the 60? Is it 67? I don't know, another one. We could not get the run on that as well as that 51. That 51 has the best brake of a 2-2 brake of any
true.
Or out of the box or what. It just runs flawless.
That's true.
Put a big prop on that thing.
That's true.
The Stalker makes smaller motors like 40s and 46s.
Yeah,
They make
we actually got the 47 running real well by putting a.
You mean the 74?
Pardon me?
You mean the 74?
No, they make a 47.
No, they make a 46.
Oh, is that a 46?
Yeah.
That 46, we end up putting a 13.5 on it or something. And that's what my buddy's nephew there, Pat, and I worked with. He won intermediate with. I mean, it brought that motor to life. We were just trying to run too small a propeller on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a Vector with a huge prop, and I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I had a Vector with a Stalker 40 in it, and it ran like a dream. But I was using the Grish 10.6 3-blade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know why they make so much power if they're just. And that 51 will fly a whole pattern and laps left over on 3 1/4 ounces of fuel.
Depending on the altitude. When I took mine up to Brodak, or took mine down to Brodak from here, I couldn't get through the pattern on a 4-ounce tank. Everywhere else I could do it, but not there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Those things happen. It's usually the case when you go down in altitude, you burn more fuel.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I know John Paris, his Fox 35 takes 3 1/8 of an ounce of fuel to get through the pattern, and his 51 and his SV11 takes 3 1/4.
Yeah.
Takes an 1/8 ounce more fuel.
Wow.
Where's he flying at? How high?
1,000 feet, maybe.
Yeah.
Michigan's somewhere around 600, 700 feet for the most part.
Is that where is Muncie at 6'7"?
Muncie's at about 850. Brodak's at about 1,000.
Okay, see, we're 1,000 here where I'm at, but
Okay.
we're the highest point in Kent County.
Okay.
I'm about 350 in Columbia.
See, I'm flying at 4,600 to 4,800 feet.
Yeah.
And so when I come down to 1,000 feet, that's a big drop.
Yeah.
That is a big drop. Yes. Wow. Yeah. When I go to Arizona to compete, I use less fuel when I go to Arizona. I noticed that about a half ounce less fuel.
Yep. By the way, you going to Arizona this year?
I got a great opportunity. A friend of mine invited me to come out to VSC. I'm not making it this weekend, but I might. I'm thinking about going to VSC for the first time.
You'll love it.
Yeah,
What is
I'm looking forward
BSC
to it.
going on right now?
No, they got
No,
the Southwest
right now
region.
is the Southwest Regionals is this weekend.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's this weekend. It's either this weekend or
Yeah.
next weekend. I don't know.
That's the one where us guys from the cold states go there and watch the guys from Tucson at 65 degrees, all wrapped up in blankets, sitting around and afraid to move because they think they might break.
Are you going to go to Southwestern Regionals?
No, I won't be going to there. I'm still dealing with my wife and her cancer treatment. So
Okay, that's right.
yeah, but we hope by the time March comes around that'll all be behind us. And I don't know if I'll have anything to fly. I've got a couple of classic planes, but I've just got to see what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Dick yesterday, and everything's going really good with his chemo.
Oh,
Everything's shrinking, and
That's good to hear.
Oh, good.
so all that part's going good. And I don't know. We found out it was stage 2 and not stage 4.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
great.
So they're
All
more optimistic about everything now.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is really good.
He'll still have to do a couple operations, but they're going to shrink everything down and then do the operation. But that's what they did with me when I had chemo, and they shrank it down and then took it out.
What do we know about John Brodak right now? Anything?
As of last week before last, I got a exchange notes with Buzz, and she said that he is still in ICU, still has a ventilator. So that means he's been in ICU with a ventilator since mid-December through mid-January.
Holy
So, yeah, not the kind of news we want to hear.
No.
I heard though that it's actually he's not out of the woods, but they actually got some of the fluid off his lungs or something. I don't know. But it's still not good.
Yeah, you just gotta wonder. I mean, my God, what kind of a workout is that man going through? He's been through so much already and stuff. Yeah. Buzz is living in Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah.
Where he is, and whatever. That's where. But yeah, it's just not the kind of news I was hoping to hear by now. So.
Yeah. And how's Joy, John?
She finished up the last of her radiation on Wednesday.
All
but
right.
she's suffering from the effects of it. That it was in the back of her, or not the back, but behind her lips and her mouth.
Yeah.
And
right.
all the radiation was directed at her mouth and the inside of her mouth and under her chin, where she had some lymph nodes that were cancerous. And the problem is it's made the whole inside of her mouth so sore. She has drainage from that. You can't imagine what it's like. And they said it's going to be probably 3 weeks or more before that starts to clear up.
Wow.
So she deemed that. Yeah, I came home tonight. I got a late start. Wound up going through 50 miles of nasty fog before it cleared up. It got to high enough altitude where I cleared out. But I'm not going back up there until Thursday, and she's staying with her daughter, who's keeping good care of her. she needs that kind of support. Me, I'm just kind of in the way. I mean, not totally, but kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here trying to get the house situated and pay some bills, make sure the electricity doesn't get cut off because I don't think it's been paid in a month and a half. So
You still have electricity at your house? That seems
Oh
weird.
yeah, ain't that weird? Yeah, I was gonna put a little solar generator out there, 'cause
Yeah, we thought you were pedaling a bicycle generator, maybe so you could get online. So.
I used to do. No, I was gonna build me one of them carousel windmill type things for a wind charger because we got so much wind here. I know that sucker I'd be shipping power to the power company.
That's right. They're sending you a check every month.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad to hear she's made it through the end of the chemo in 3 weeks. I hope there's a big difference, and best wishes. That's all I know what to say.
Guys. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Amen with that.
We're talking about things like this. Howard Shenton's report is not good. He's got a fractured vertebrae in his neck from the fall he took on Sunday, and he's just in seriously terrible pain. And I don't know much more than that. I hadn't tried to talk to him because he can't get on the phone, and so that I'll let you know if anything else changes. He's been sick for a while with other problems, losing a lot of weight. He's not the bear that he used to be. I doubt if I could wrestle him to the ground right now, but not far from it. And we were joking about that, he and I, at the last meeting when we went to Watt's house. But right now, he's in the hospital and he's not doing well. So.
Did it paralyze him at all?
No, absolutely no paralysis. Well, I'm happy to be able to report that.
They can heal. They can heal that. He'll go through a lot of pain and stuff, but
yeah,
at least it didn't paralyze him. And
my neck is the worst thing that's wrong with me now, and I'm feeling the effects with peripheral neuropathy and that sort of thing. And it's like I got a permanent crick in my neck, but I'm a long way from where Howard is. And I think we're going to readdress that now that everything else on me's getting cured back up, and see if there's anything we can do to relieve me a little, because it's going to stop me from driving before too long. Because if you can't look left and right to see where traffic's coming from, not a good idea to drive. So.
Yeah.
What are you building now, Jamie?
Oh, it's a little free flight plane. Just a little Gillows Javelin.
I've built one of those little stick planes like that. That's something I'd like to do. Stick and tissue.
Oh yeah.
I got oodles of freaking free flight kits because I was dumping out of control line, but here I am.
You gave up on control line?
Almost. I'm almost there. But I did get this a while back for those who are familiar with the free flight stuff from the 50s.
Well, that's cool.
Berkeley bootstraps.
Okay.
So why'd you give up on control line?
Yeah, I was getting bored. Not really
bored.
Not really getting bored, but it's just the interest. The last year has been pretty hectic, so it's just mind ain't all there with it right now. But if I make it to Brodak, that probably all change.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you heard any of the show before you joined us live, but Brodak is going to happen this year. Will Davis has submitted the, what is it called? Whatever the paperwork's called anyway, with the AMA. It's registered. and definitely going to happen.
Sweet.
That's
So
great.
I could put in my vacation now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not
And
going. So
the dates are, let's see, I do know that 21st, Sunday the 21st is driving home day. So that must mean that it goes on Saturday, June 13th through Saturday, June 20th. And then everybody drives home on Sunday the 21st.
I don't think the flying starts till what, Monday?
Yeah.
Unless you're from Salt Lake City, which means you'll be driving home Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday
Oh,
night.
boy, really? Damn,
But
Salt Lake City, it must be on another continent.
Darn near. Hey,
So
Denny.
you enjoy drive out? You enjoy drive out there together, John?
Yeah, yeah. I got a little camper, one of those little Toyota campers, and it's just fine for the two of us. We go out there and we stay in the camper, and we go to the various contests and events. Unless I trip and fall on my airplane like I did last time.
Oh,
Or
boy,
you're
I can't think of anything worse than that. More maddening than sitting on your plane, except for maybe backing over somebody else's plane.
Well, that was
Oh,
it.
yeah.
My plane was in his garage, and I went to pick it up, and I got all those other planes in there, and I had a little narrow way to go through, and I got a little off balance. I'm running through there trying to fall on other people's airplanes, and I finally got to the point where I was a little clear, and I fell, so I wouldn't fall on it, but I wound up falling on my own.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
I had
man.
4 plates on it.
What year was that, John?
Oh, shuckies. That was probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Because I met you at 2016 Brodax, and I
Not
also
a
met you
Brodax.
at the. I also met you at the Golden State.
You been to Brodak?
Yeah,
I met you.
yeah, we met there. I didn't recognize you with your hair. Your beard was long
Oh,
at 2016 Brodax, and I think I was shortly after your accident when you got electrocuted.
the
Right?
accident was in 2012,
Okay.
and
Oh, never mind. Well,
yeah.
but you're still recovering then.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, I sent some plans off to South Africa, to Johannesburg here yesterday. Guy
Wow.
down
very
there,
cool.
guy down there is getting back in the control line, and he's a scratch builder, and he wanted plans for the Pathfinder, the single engine and the twin engine one. So I sent him
Oh, very cool.
the PDFs so he could have them printed there.
Was it Theo Clennons? Was that his name? Theo?
Terry Collins,
Oh.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I thought it would be the only guy I know in South
What was the
Africa.
name of that the profile you're building? You didn't mention the name. He says a big profile, but I didn't get the name of it.
That's called the Paiute, or the Paiute Warrior. Paiutes being the tribe around Utah,
Okay, Paiute Warrior.
Paiute Warrior.
Huh.
And it's a triple-tailed.
Okay.
There's a
Ooh,
It has
cool.
tip ribs on the stab and a central rib off the fuselage, not rib, stab off the fuselage. Trike gear. It's about 620 square inches.
Well, that
Okay.
sounds
I think
nice.
there-
I like the.
Let me ask you this. Is there any
My-
serious... I'm sorry. Go ahead. Is there any serious learning curve to for the first time you pick up a handle on a tricycle gear control line plane to landing it? What's it like landing a trike?
Can you land a airplane on its main gear, 2 wheels?
Yeah.
If you can do that, you can land a trike gear.
Okay.
All you do, just unlike with the main gear, I usually bring it in, drive it in, bring it in, and roll it out on the mains. And some guys bring it in the flare just a little bit and do closer to a 3-point landing.
I like to roll out on the mains and then set the tail down.
Yeah. Well, on a trike gear, you'll bring it in, and just before you're going to touch the ground, you give it just a tad bit of up, so you raise the nose wheel up a little bit and land it on the mains. And then as soon as you're down on the mains, you can give it a little bit of down, and that'll bring the nose wheel down and it holds it on the ground. And as you bleed off speed, you can give it more and more down and use your elevator and the brakes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
Yeah.
doing
that-
That's the only thing you don't want to do is don't let the nose gear touch the ground first. That's
yeah.
right. It will bounce.
Will bounce badly. So try not
Oh,
to
yeah.
carry too much speed, and like John said, if you can just kind of flare just a little bit, just that hair. Doesn't take much, just enough so that the main touches first, and then it'll just grease right down. Now, I've never been able to get a trike that would roll out on landing on the main gear. I've got one that I can take off on the main gear before it breaks, before it breaks ground. But I haven't been able to land it. As soon as the main touches, it wants to drop the nose gear. So
You know what? Bart Klipinski likes to do this with trike gears. He'll bring it in on the mains, and then he'll hold the nose wheel off all the way around the circle.
Yeah,
And
I
as
see,
he
I've never
gets
been
right
able to do
along-
that. So I'd like to see
Yeah,
that.
I've done it, but I'd rather just bring it in and get the nose wheel down, and let it roll out, because then I don't have to worry about. Because if you come around and the wind's blowing and you get that wind under that wing, you're liable to take off again.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I've only flown trike gear on grass, and I like it because it sucks at once you flare and the main wheels touch, just the drag on that will suck that front wheel down and hold it right to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You bet. Actually, unless you're really, really good with landing on the mains, and a lot of guys are, but especially the plane's properly set up for it, you can usually expect to get anywhere between 5 and 10, maybe even 20 more points in a pattern flying a trike gear, depending on your level of expertise.
Well, the other thing is we always made the nose gear shorter.
Yeah.
So it sets nose down a little bit. So when you go to take off, you can rotate, bring that nose gear off. Same thing with landing. You can land fairly
Yeah. I was wondering.
and then drop
I
the
was about to
gear
ask
in.
that.
Yeah, I've had trouble
A
with
lot
the
of
short nose gear on takeoff.
Yeah.
It wants to suck
Yeah.
on the ground, but if you give it a little up, and as soon as you get it off, the weight off the nose gear, it jumps into the air.
Yeah, a little too
I've had
short.
trouble with that, but on landing, it's certainly the right way because again, as soon as it touches down, the short nose gear lets it. That's the same as down
It's
elevator,
down.
basically. And so yeah, it'll land nice, but I've had a hard time taking it off. Same thing.
And whatnot.
Live streaming is on.
They're out,
But
and
Is on.
he got them from his estate, and I ended up getting them from him.
Weren't you building a Vector, Jamie?
2 of them.
You
Building
ever finish them?
no. Building a full fuselage like that one in Tom Dixon's profile vector I was doing.
Oh, okay.
And I just put the profile vector, the wings joined up, and I fiberglassed the seams, and I put it back in the foam saddles and put it in top of the closet. The wing for the other vectors in my daughter's room on the wall.
hey, Denny, on
Yeah.
those on that nose wheel being too short, you're absolutely right. When on takeoff, and especially if you've got your mains a little too far back,
Yeah.
it really when you rotate it just jumps off.
Yeah.
All of my trike gear planes, and I've had quite a few of them, have all been set up at 0-0. And
Mhm.
what that does for me is I can keep it on the ground for that quarter lap, from the release, and then just give it. In fact, I'm usually crouched down low on the takeoff, and I just stand up, and there's enough up to the brakes ground nice and smooth. Doesn't jump up. But then on the landing, I do have to flare a little bit, and then once I get once the nose gear slows down a little bit, I'll give the nose gear down and hold it on the ground that way. I like them.
Yeah, I'm thinking seriously of using a trike also. I haven't built one in a very long time. I kind of miss them. And like you say, it's like, however many points of flight, it's free. All right.
That's right.
They're
You
all
don't have to
free.
worry about taking off and landing if you have it set up right.
Well,
'Cause it
that's
just does
it. I mean, you can still. I mean, you have to consciously mess up to mess up the landing. You
Oh,
almost can't
exactly.
mess up the takeoff. And
That's right.
as long you make a nice smooth approach, you're almost guaranteed of getting a good touchdown and a landing. So
Yeah. There's nothing more frustrating than having a really nice pattern and then getting a bounce. It's like, oh no.
yeah, especially when you're making a nice smooth approach and then you find there's a little hill in the field or something like that,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
just kind of grabs you when you weren't ready for it or
Just
something like
kills
that.
you.
So, yeah, it's murder. So,
Well, guys, I'm out of here. Try to see everybody Monday.
Okay, Steve.
All right, Steve.
you take care,
Take it
Steve.
easy. Have a good night.
Have a good evening.
Night.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, Steve.
Hey, there we go.
So, Len, what's the new airplane going to be?
Windy Cardinal. 92 Cardinal.
Okay, I think that's
Full
the one I
body,
got
yeah.
plans for. Yeah,
Yeah, the 92 Cardinal.
that's a big airplane too, isn't
It's
it?
a
I mean,
big
really
airplane.
big.
Yeah, very big.
Okay.
Well, I actually inherited a wing sort of. I'm putting a foam wing in it that was John DeTavio's wing. It came to me through Bob Krug.
Oh, very
He
cool.
brought a bunch of stuff to Brodax that was John DeTavio's, and that wing was part of the stuff, and I bought it off him.
I hadn't seen
Or
Bruce
actually,
in Coon's age. He used to come to Huntersville with fuel.
right? Oh, Bob Krug, yes. Yeah, he used to fly with Windy and John DeTavio and Rich Jacobone.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
What engine you put in that Cardinal?
Casminato 77.
Oh, okay, good. It's a nice
So
engine.
it shouldn't be underpowered. I'm going to try and keep it around 60 ounces. It might end up a little more, but we'll see how we do.
You know what? I
The
have
foam
a.
wing's going to make it just a little bit heavy, I think.
What prop do you use in your K77?
I haven't run one yet. It's still a brand new motor. It hasn't even been broke in.
Well, I tell you something. I flew my. I have two Stregas, and one has a stalker in it, and the other one has a K77. And I put the Zor 14.7 wooden prop on the K77, and it was just magnificent.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. When I went up to do the reverse swing over, the plane just kind of like went up the elevator. I mean, it was just like no hesitation. It was just going up and up and up and up. I was just like, wow. I was so impressed.
That's cool. Are you running that engine on pipe or just on muffler?
I've tried it with the pipe in an impact and briefly, but mostly I have that that enlarged muffler, that the Casminato muffler, the one that's carbon fiber.
Okay.
That
I don't have that. I just have the regular metal muffler, the aluminum one.
I think it's definitely worth it. I think it's something I would strongly encourage you to get that muffler. That muffler made a big difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll consider that.
If you don't do that, just enlarge the stinger on the stock muffler.
Okay.
It needs to breathe better. That muffler is kind of restrictive.
Okay.
But I really like that Zor 14.7 prop. Oh man, it was just so sweet.
Yeah, I'll probably be running it with something like that, or a Rev Up 14.5 or something in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, I did 14.7, and I'm using FIA fuel, just straight methanol with synthetic.
Okay. How
I think I'm using
how
about
much
18.
how much no nitro?
No nitro.
Okay.
Nitro isn't
But
as needed.
I'm sorry?
I say you don't need as much nitro as people think, in my
Okay.
opinion.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I think most of the I think that engine's made by Stalker, isn't it?
The K77,
Yeah.
it may be because Kaz was a dealer for Stalker.
Okay. So that I'm pretty sure it comes out of their factory. And so therefore you're probably right. You don't need a lot of nitro because I think they're a lot the same.
Yeah, the biggest problems I've seen with running Stalkers that guys have is they try to run nitro in it, too much
Yeah, and
nitro.
then they're a problem. Exactly. Too much
Yeah.
nitro.
Steve,
Just
I missed
Yeah.
Damn, is it Monday already?
I was going to ask you, did you watch any Lost in Space?
I've watched, yeah, I've watched, I think, 7 of them. So I got a couple more to go.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's
Man,
all
that
I
Dr.
meant to
Smith,
ask you when I first got on, and I forgot. And
I thought about it too. Man, that Dr. Smith is a bitch, isn't she?
oh man,
Damn.
she
Hate
plays that
that.
Is
part.
that on Netflix?
Yeah,
She plays that
Okay.
part really well.
yeah, she does. She's a evil, hateful person.
Might come natural, you know.
Yeah,
Night.
yeah, that's the same kind of part she played on You Got Mail when she was Tom Hanks' girlfriend.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
that's her. You know, in the first part of it, and she's really bitchy and stuff. But well, I'll let you guys go. I don't want to interrupt the airplane stuff. I just thought about that, Rusty.
You
I
just
was gonna
came back.
call you.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
I was going to call you on the telephone. I didn't do it. I
Yeah,
thought, oh, I'll
that's
just
all
ask
right.
you
Yeah,
about you guys, and I forgot.
I had to make myself not watch the next two.
Isn't that
So,
crazy?
yeah,
It's
I'll
that
catch it this weekend.
the last one is the best one.
Really, and
How-
then
I
it'll
mean,
be.
it
Was
starts
it a
out
year?
slow, and then you'll understand it all in the last one.
Okay.
It's all backdrop to what you got to know for the last show.
Yeah.
It's really good.
All right.
Take it easy.
All right, man. See
Take
you
it-
later.
Take it easy.
See you, Steve.
Now, Monday,
Now he came in with an echo. I don't know what we did to cure the echo. I had just told everybody to turn their speakers down a little bit, and after that, what Greg Rodney left at the same time. So I don't know if it was related to him or if it was related to everybody turning their speakers down a little.
Down.
Well, it might have
Well,
been
when I muted
related to.
Greg, when I
Say
muted
what?
Greg, it got so much better. I muted Greg.
Did you?
I think what was happening, Greg was working. He was working. I mean, he's got a lot done while we were on the show. I think he had his computer on. He probably had the volume turned full blast.
I
And
bet
I think
that's
the
what it
echo
was.
was like feedback through his
Yeah.
own microphone. It
Yeah,
had to
I
be
bet
something like that.
he just disappeared without saying bye. I hope we didn't do anything to make him mad or something, but he seemed like a pretty cool.
Yeah, he would seem to be having a pretty good time, but he was right. While we were sitting there, he built a ringmaster.
Yeah, he was moving right along.
He had a nice, neat work area. He was organized.
Yep.
That was nice to meet him. That's the first time I've ever talked to him.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. I hope he comes back. So
I think he's going to be at Brodak, so you'll probably see him there. Are you going to? Who else going to Brodak? All of you guys? Oh, no, Charles.
John, you're going to be there again, and
I'm
Charles?
No, I'm not going to be there.
Oh, okay.
No. Are you going, Danny?
Naomi and I will be there, but only for the last few days. We're not going to be there for the whole thing this year.
Well, yeah, you got a big Carolina trip though. Coming.
Yeah, so we've decided we're going to try and make it to Brodax, but just for the probably get there on the Thursday and stay for Friday and leave Saturday type of thing.
Now for Journal, I'm going to be there on Thursday, and then I'll go back home, and I'll be back on Saturday.
Okay.
Excellent.
We're going to try and get there for the whole week of Joe Knoll because we want to fly. So we'll be there on Monday or whatever the first day is. I don't know.
I don't know if I'll be able to fly or not, but maybe I'll throw a plane in the car. I'll throw my intermediate Death Star in the car, and
There you
that's pretty
go.
indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get somebody to stand out there with me, like Mike
Sure.
Linsky had to bear hug me a couple of times to keep me from falling last May. But at least I got an official half a flight in
That's awesome.
before I handed it off.
If you guys want to have a really fine road trip in that, you can come out on May 22nd, 23rd, and 24th to the Northwest Regionals. One of the last big control line meets in the country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, they have all disciplines.
I might have to get my plane and a jug of fuel and hitchhike on up there.
I'd love to go.
Yeah, John,
I'd love to go to something like that, but I just can't do it. It's just a little
Well, you
too
know,
far.
that's, I get kind of a mini bucket list, all these contests, these big contests that I grew up with or whatever, and never been to like the King Orange International. And it seems like this, what was it, the Northwest Regionals, the Southwest Regionals? I haven't been to VSC.
You know what
No,
else
either
I'd like
have I.
to do is the bladder grabber. I would
Yeah,
love to go to the bladder grabber.
I wanted to fly at what is it, the Garden State Circle Burners control line
Yeah,
field that's now
that's a
gone.
bunch of cool
Yeah, I
guys.
never
Yeah,
flew
but it
there
was just
either.
one of those legendary places that I just wanted to
It
fly
never
at.
happened. Yeah, I
They
never
lost
got
it.
there
They
either.
lost it. They showed up
Yeah.
one day and they were building on it.
I'd like to
Wow.
go hang out
It
with
literally
Philly
came out of the blue.
Flyers.
They had no idea there was anything happening,
So
and then
sad.
and it's gone.
I'd
So
like to
And
sad.
hang out with the Philly Flyers for a weekend. Those are pretty cool dudes.
yeah, well, you know where I'm coming from. It'd be fun to
Yeah.
be in maybe in a little Toyota mini camper or something like that, and just tour the country and
Go to
make
all
all
of
the
them.
stops.
Yeah, at least I consider myself lucky because within a day trip's distance, I've got a triple tree at Joe Knoll, and I can fly at triple tree anytime I want to, and Huntersville, and if I wanted to, Jacksonville or Florida for KOI is not that far. I've never been, but still, I've got all of that plus some great fields right here in Columbia. So. Yeah, I'm lucky to have what I do have.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Here in the
We used to enjoy when I lived in Detroit. We used to go to Canada all the time, and I'd love to get back up to Canada and fly with my friends in Toronto if I
Oh,
can
that'd
find
be
any.
awesome.
So
That'd be awesome. Oh, you don't even have to go that far. Just as soon as you cross the border,
yeah,
you can fly with us.
yeah, that's it. But
You're within. Once you cross the border, you're less than an hour from our field.
okay, that's good.
Lynn, you're in what, Ontario?
Yeah, we're in Ontario, but southwestern Ontario, so near Chatham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Okay, you're
really
not
close to the border.
okay. I thought you were all the way at Toronto. I didn't know you
No,
were.
no. We're
Chatham is
three.
close.
We're 3.5 hours closer to you.
Yeah.
The a mountain west out here where I live, the closest contest from Salt Lake is the stunt challenge there in Las Vegas. That's only 450 miles away.
Oh,
California
Oh my goodness.
California contests, the Tucson contests are about 750 to 780 miles away. The Golden State is about 900. The Northwest Regional is about 980. So that's I used to live in Wisconsin. I loved it there because 400 miles. I could be at a contest almost every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto is in Ontario, is that right?
What's that?
Toronto is in Ontario, is
Yes,
that
it
right?
is. Yeah, but it's at the other end of Ontario.
Yeah.
It's further east.
Len, do you know Bruce up there in Canada? He's I think
Bruce
he's
Perry?
in, yeah.
Yeah, he's out west. I've never actually met him.
Oh, okay.
Like
I was gonna,
he's in Western Canada. We're Eastern Canada.
yeah, yeah, he's out where they say A with the conviction. I know.
Yeah, well, so do we, but that's beside the point. Eh? You know what I mean, eh?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's flying. He's got a classic version of my buddy Gordon Delaney's too much twin stunt ship that he's got going with retracts and everything.
Oh, wow.
I am so looking forward. But when he's out here visiting Gordon, as he was getting more information, that Gordon gave him his Gemini twin, which
Okay.
is probably one of the most absolutely beautiful large stunt ships. It has a pair of OS 35S's in it, and
Okay.
it looks like a surfboard going over the top of the circle in a wing over, and it has the oddest appearing. I don't think it's really happened, but what it looks like is it looks like the plane comes down, stops, turns, and then flies out.
Wow, that's awesome.
An amazing airplane. And Gordon gave it to him. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Bruce
Wow.
was it.
Wow.
Did you wish he would have given it to you, John, instead, or what?
Oh, I probably would have crashed it.
Okay.
He offered to let me fly it once, and I turned him down. I didn't want to take that chance.
Yeah, just fly high.
Yeah, when you get a chance to fly something, unless you're really feeling shaky, fly it. What the heck? You only live once.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Because you
That's
may
it.
not
Well,
get the second chance.
Fly it like
This
it's
thing's
fly it like it's meant to be flown.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah. This thing's got somewhere between 70 and 80 square inch, not square, wingspan. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's huge. Like I say, it looks like a surfboard.
One of the
Amazing.
most nervous I've ever been flying a model airplane was flying a Fierce Arrow.
Really?
I was at Brodax one year, and a guy wanted me to fly his Fierce Arrow. This thing was massive, and I flew the thing, and he wanted me to try a whole pattern with it. I wouldn't do it. I said, I can't do it. I'm too scared of this thing. It's a big monster of an airplane.
Yeah, 800 and some odd square inches.
Oh, yeah. And it really pulled. Holy moly. It had more pull than my 90 ship.
Wow.
You
I've
know-
flown a half-ass. Half-ass is like half the size of a Fierce Arrow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Half
then
that.
Half-ass.
Len, you're talking about that. That wasn't a normal Fierce Arrow stunner. That was like a 1.5 or.
Yeah, it was that great. It was that great big one that guy had there that one year. It
Yeah.
was massive. It was a
I
big
remember.
airplane.
Yeah.
I don't know what he had in it. I can't remember, but it was a big airplane with a big motor.
I think that one was 1,200 square inches.
It was massive. And he asked me if I'd fly it. I said, sure, I'll fly it. And then after I landed, he said, do you want to fly it again and do the pattern? I said, no, I don't. No, not going to do that. Sorry.
Hey,
Yes,
I'm not going to be.
arm pulled out.
I didn't want to be that guy.
So how does
Yeah.
I've only ever seen one Fierce Arrow fly, and it frankly didn't look real good or anything like that. How do those things normally fly? Do
They
will
wobble
they do a
around.
fish pattern?
No,
No.
they wobble. They wobble, but they don't fall down.
All right.
I was really scared of the one I flew. I thought, there's no way I'm going to try a square 8 with this thing. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Denny, do you feel like I do that you can design a lot of that pull out, and you should, because when you're fighting the pull on an airplane, you can't finesse it.
I agree with all of that. It's like pull on the airplane. At a certain point, it becomes kind of counterproductive. I mean, it's like if the airplane's pulling out, that means it's not pulling forward. And
Yeah.
so I would like to have to put it in perspective, if I had 1 pound of line tension and never lost it, I'd be perfectly happy. All right.
Most definitely.
Yep.
And I don't need the airplane to be pulling hard. In fact, I prefer that it doesn't. So
Yeah,
just
same here.
It's
I'm
nice to
whatever
hold
is
the
there,
hand,
I don't know. I don't want to give it up. That's all. So.
it's nice to hold the handle with your fingertips and finesse the airplane.
Mm, I think part of the reasons I've always liked smaller airplanes and stuff is that they don't pull as hard. They don't wear me out. But then again, I've been working out at the Y, since the first of the year, and I'm going to be a badass by summertime. That's all there is
Oh,
to
then
it.
I'll let,
Yeah.
There we go. All right. That's
then
right.
you get over the border here, then, and we'll let you fly the 90 ship. We'll see what kind of shape you're in.
Yeah. Well, I I guess I flew Wendy's Sweeper 1600,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and
Was
that was the most intimidating. I think I must have felt the way you did flying the big half-ass. I mean, that darn, it turned me every way but loose, man. I couldn't believe
the
anything
pull.
could pull that hard.
Oh
I think
yeah.
it weighed 8 pounds. All right. So there, and it weighed 8 pounds, but it was lightly loaded. It's like 1,600 square inches or something like that. So
Oh
it
wow.
was just too darn much.
Well, you'd
And
feel the
Yeah.
same way then if you flew my 90 plane. It's the same
yeah, I
sort of thing.
probably would.
I
I
fly two
probably
or
would.
three flights and I'm tired. I've had enough.
Hmm.
I think the most flights I ever flew in a day was 5, and I was exhausted after that.
Yeah. Well, I got this, the SV11 that I had. It was the electric prototype. It's 74 ounces.
Yeah,
Flies nice. And if I fly it 4 times, that's all the flying I want to do.
yeah, exactly. It's a pretty big
And
airplane.
yeah, and it's not that, and it's by today's standards, that's a pretty normal package and everything like that. But it's just more
Most
than that.
definitely.
I don't want to
More
work
than
that
your
hard.
liking. Yeah,
I'll go back and fly my 38 ouncer. I love
yeah.
flying that.
I think
Well,
that's a good thing about 35 size airplanes. They built lighter.
most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't flown a 35 size airplane really in stunt for a long time until last summer when I built that Nobler. And I'll tell you, it was a treat to fly it. At
Yeah.
43 ounces with a Fox 35, it was a treat. It was really nice to fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So there's a lot to be said about the 35 size airplane still.
Well, yeah. Well,
If, if
yeah, today's editorial comment, I guess. I always thought airplane design has been driven by the engines that were available. And over the past 25 or 30 years or so, the best engines were big engines. And I
right,
think as much as anything else, that's why we got out of the classic size airplanes and into bigger stuff. And, Tiger 46s were nice, but they're really, really, compared to today, there's nothing there.
they're very weak. Yeah,
Yeah, and not the 61, 65, 75, 77, 81. You guys got so much power available that the airplane can grow. The airplane needs to grow to a certain amount just to absorb that power.
yeah.
I don't know that you can properly.
Harness
People
the
claim other.
power.
I don't know that you can put a 77 in a Nobler and come up with an effective stunt package. You know. It,
I've
it just
often wondered though what a big Nobler would fly like.
Oh well, there've been a
You know,
couple
like
of like 10
if,
percenters and stuff that flew
it'd
really
be
good.
interesting to see what a 60-inch span Nobler would fly like. Build it up, and put a 75 in it or a
Mm-hmm.
67 and see what it does. It probably would be a pretty good airplane.
Yeah. What's his
Are
name
there
out
no
in
better?
West Coast built? What's his name? Is it Jim Aaron? I think it was
Might
built
be, yeah,
a basically a Vector and put a Pipe 75 in it. I think it was a Vector wing actually. The fuselage is totally different.
yeah,
It was first Sistrema, I think he called it. And I understand it was
Yeah.
a really, the people who saw it fly say it was a real eye opener
yeah.
and everything like that. And again, you're working on a 70-foot hemisphere and stuff. It's like how much power can you put into that hemisphere, and how much of that, How do you absorb
Yeah.
that power into into an airframe that flies in that hemisphere and stuff? And if I was flying on a 100 foot of line, baby, that's where I'd be going. But that's not where we're at.
It's not
So
going to happen.
yeah,
I don't think you'll ever see anything any bigger than what's already been built, flying control line and aerobatics. I think they've kind of proven where the max is.
yeah. Well, I think the only unless you change the equation by putting us out on longer lines or something like
Lines,
that, that's the only
exactly.
thing that could possibly change it. I think.
That's
So.
right. I agree.
Well, you get a fuselage over about 4 feet long. It starts looking really funny on a 45-degree pattern, even in 70-foot lines.
Yeah,
You
that's
get to
right.
where it's just too much. It doesn't look graceful anymore.
Too
So
much airplane.
yeah. So I don't know. I've been fond of the little airplanes, but I think I'm gonna be sneaking up on some bigger stuff here. So a little bit bigger.
Are you building anything right now?
Mostly designing. I've been messing around. All those drawings I've been showing off and stuff. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of well, it's actually so far false starts. I made I kind of know where I want to go, and I'm getting closer and closer, but I haven't not ready to pull the trigger just yet.
Yeah.
So
You haven't nailed it down just yet.
yeah. I'm gonna have this thing so perfect that I won't have it finished. I won't be finished designing it for another 6 or 7 years or something like that.
Well, don't go that far. God, you won't
Yeah.
remember how to build.
Well, that's it. It's like, what's that? A good plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed next week, right? So
That's right.
I'm working on a perfect plan, I guess, and I think I need to get over it. So
Yeah, it only
anyhow,
has. That's true.
Now, speaking of big noblers, wasn't that the bear supposed to be a big nobler? Or
Kind
I,
of.
I think that's a good point too.
It's kind of, yeah.
Neil Thompson he published, I think it was a Nobler plus a 10% bigger Nobler, which would make it in the low 600 square inch area. I think it was around 60 inch span. No, must have been around 58 or so.
Hey, Dennis,
But
Jeff Higgs did that here. He built a 10% bigger one.
yeah.
Yeah, it flew pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He ran a Tiger 51 in his,
Uh-huh.
and it seemed to
Jeff
fly
Higgs.
pretty
I
good.
haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, I bet, eh? He's, I don't think he's doing really well. I think his health is not so good anymore.
That's too bad.
He's not able to fly anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
oh boy,
Great guy, though. Awesome
bad.
guy. He was very good to me and very helpful to me for many
Jeff
years.
was a good. I remember Jeff being a really good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I miss Frantic Freddy too. So
Yeah,
Fred
he hasn't been
Schreier.
around in a long time. Freddie stopped in '97. Never saw him again.
I'd love to have be able to get plans for his airplane. I would have sworn he had it published, and I can't find any link to it.
I've never seen any publishing of that airplane, the Snowbird.
Yeah,
Never seen anything on that airplane.
but
I actually had one of those airplanes, and I may be able to get it back again. If you're at all interested, I could see about getting that airplane, and you could just borrow it and see what you can come up
at the
with.
very least, I'd be interested in trying to just get it documented. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm
To
gonna
me,
see.
it's one of the sadnesses here. Is all these airplanes I remember, seeing, and heck, a lot of these I held them in my hands and stuff, and there's like
Yeah.
either no plans or you know scarce pictures or anything like that.
Well, I had
And
one of the ones that he took to the world champs.
all right.
And I got it from one of the other guys. Actually, I got it from Jeff Higgs. Jeff had given it to Jeff to do some experimenting with.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jeff gave it to Kim Doherty to borrow, and I ended up getting it off of Kim. But then I lent it to somebody to fly because he didn't have an airplane, but I think I can get it back. I'll see if I can get it.
Mm-hmm.
But
You could
yeah.
even just take a few dimensions off it or something like that. Do a little sketch or something. Maybe we can come up
Yeah,
with
I
a
know
plan or
I know
something.
it's all foam wing. I know it's got a foam wing. And
Yeah.
it's got
Was it
and it's
the one
go
you
ahead.
had? Was it yellow or white?
Yeah, no, it's yellow.
Okay.
Yellow with green and red trim.
Okay, and was it a take apart or one piece?
Take apart.
I think that had to be like his very last one then.
No, he actually built a couple more after that, and his last one wasn't a snowbird. It was called Pipe Dream. And
Okay.
and what it had is it was the same as all his other snowbirds, except that it had his usual HP 40, but it was rear exhaust and it had a pipe.
Huh. Okay.
That was the last one he built, and it was called Pipe Dream.
Okay. But I thought the Snowbird was just a pretty little design.
Beautiful airplane.
Just a simple, straightforward. Looks good doing the tricks. All right.
Yeah.
So
That was a very good looking airplane, no doubt about that.
yeah.
But
Hey, Len,
yeah,
Len,
yeah.
is that Chinese fella that was a Chinese champion that moved to Canada? Is he still flying?
No, he hasn't flown since '92.
Really?
He won the world championships twice. Arden Zhang.
Yeah.
Yes, he actually owns a hobby shop in Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, he has a hobby shop in Toronto, and he hasn't flown control line since about '92. Not once.
I'll be darned. I'll be darned.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's happy in Canada.
Yeah, he loves it here. He's got his family here, and he's a great guy. He's a nice guy. Him and I are friends, and I've known him for a long time. But the sad thing for me is I never got to see him fly, and I wished I had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was really something, I'll tell you.
Well, yeah, winning 2 world champs, I would put him on a short list. Yeah.
Some of the guys here who saw him fly, even when he came here, said it was absolutely unreal. It was that good. Like, he came out and he flew here when he first came here, and they said it was so perfect it would just blow your mind. Because you would stand there and watch him fly, and at the end of the flight you would say, "Oh, so that's how it's supposed to look." That's how good it was. This guy
wasn't he at one time going to fly for the Canadian team?
He never flew for Canada. No, he flew for China always. He flew.
Okay.
He flew second at the Worlds, and then he won 2 in a row, and then he went back again and he flew 7th.
Huh.
So yeah, he was quite the guy, Arden.
Yeah, well, I wonder what happened to him. I hadn't heard anything of him for a long time.
Well, that's why, because he basically just got out of it at that point. And basically what he said to me was that when you fly at that level, once you don't do it anymore, you don't want to do it at all because it's too much work to get back to that level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So
I think
that's basically what I gathered from him, is that the amount of commitment that's involved to get to that level is it becomes your whole life. So that by the time he didn't do it anymore, he didn't want to do it anymore after that.
I think Paul Walker, even though he's retired and moved to Western or to Eastern Washington, where he has enough ground to have his own flying circle and that, so he can practice all he wants. I don't think he's practicing as much as he needs to. I don't know. Unless he puts on him, I don't know. How's he doing? I don't think he's been at the top of the heap at all the contests as he used to be.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
He's
you know,
been second at the
Nats,
Nationals the
he had,
last few, but David has been 3 or 4 in a row now anyway, and I think Paul's been second every time, so it's not like he has really gone away. So
those guys are all on a level of their own.
At the Nats, his plane had crashed 2 weeks prior to the Nats, so
yeah.
So he fixed the plane beautifully, but had to overcome that.
It's phenomenal that a guy can do that.
Yeah.
I've watched him fly at the Northwest Regionals, and he's awesome. He's really awesome.
Yeah, I only saw him fly once at the 2012 Nats, and I'll tell you, it was pretty amazing to see.
Yeah.
And he finished second on that too, because I know that Doug Moon won that year, but it was very close. Yeah, I mean, we're talking, you're really splitting hairs when you get to that point.
Yeah.
Could have gone
You gotta
either
watch.
way.
You got to watch Paul Walker because he likes to play tricks. He disconnected somebody's lines just before the guy was trying to take off. Got his engine started and everything. Went out there and his handle wasn't there. Walker was walking away, kind of whistling. You could see the handle hanging out of his back pocket.
Really? Oh man, what a joker!
Just at first glance, that doesn't sound too damn funny.
I didn't think so
my
either.
first impression is I wonder how the hell he's still breathing air. All right.
It's
Well,
like
he might have owed him one. I don't know who he did it to, but maybe
I don't know.
the guy had it coming.
He must have done it. Somebody with a pretty good sense of humor. I don't
It must have been one. It must have been one of his buddies. It wasn't just anybody, or he wouldn't. Or like Dennis says,
but
he
it's like
breathing air.
it's like Gordon Delaney when we went to the '95 Nats up at the Tri-Counties. He saw this guy, the back of this guy, go into the outhouse there, and he thought it was somebody he knew. So Gordon goes over and backs his car up against it or whatever, the door, and it turned out, after the guy yelling and everything, it was windy in there.
Couldn't have been a nicer guy.
Gordon said, then I was afraid to let him out.
Well, Windy apparently was quite a joker too at the Nats, so he got what he deserved.
Yeah, probably true.
You mean Wendy leading the food fight at the '79 Nats banquet, or 80, yeah.
I never heard about that one.
Yeah, not one of our finer moments, but
a food fight. Wow.
Yeah, it was funny as hell when it happened, but everybody was stiff upper lip and that's terrible,
So we cleaned up after that.
Looking back on it, it was like, what the hell,
Yeah, Windy was a character. I don't think he meant anybody any harm. I think Windy liked to have a lot of fun with it if he could.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did.
And when it wasn't fun anymore, I think that was it for him.
He built beautiful airplanes.
Sure did. Now he's building beautiful motorcycles.
Yeah, anything Windy makes is beautiful. I went to his house and the guy's amazing. I don't know how he builds the stuff he builds, and the finishes are unreal.
How old is Wendy? Is he
I can tell you.
younger than most of us guys?
Now hang on here. 62. I can tell you exactly. I believe he's 74.
Okay, so he's older than me anyway.
Yeah, Windy was 62 in 07, so that would make him 72 and 17.
Yeah, that's 13 years ago.
So yeah, he'd be 74, going to turn 75 this year.
Okay, so he's 11 years older than me.
What day is his birthday? Do you know, Lynn?
I know it's in the summer at some point, but I don't know the exact date.
My guess is August 16th. I think it's same birthday as my wife, I think.
Okay.
Me and White have the same birthday, and it's always about on the meeting day in March, and so we always have a birthday cake and cut it with a 14-inch master air screw propeller.
You know who my birthday's on the same day as? Ted Fancher.
Oh, really?
Ted Fancher and our birthdays are on the same day, July the 21st.
I'll never forget being there when he flew this purple pond scum, and he come out of the reverse wing. That was his purple Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, you mean the final edition?
Yeah, well, whatever. We call it purple pond scum. Anyway, he'd come out inverted in the reverse wing over, and as he came around, all of a sudden his motor just stopped. Here he's 4 feet off the ground and upside down, and it's over asphalt.
Oh no!
And so he's looking. The runway's there, and there's a patch of grass between the actually between the runway and the taxiway that we were flying on. And so he runs over there to try to land it. And then wouldn't you know, he found the only place that had a brick.
Oh, jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, he didn't hurt it too bad, but anyway, he opened it up, looked there, and you know what happened? Why it quit? He got a B down his venturi.
Oh my
A
God.
B.
Yeah.
A
Yep,
B.
that'll do it.
It can
Wow.
happen.
Automatic
Yep.
choke.
Yep.
Yeah, they happened to my brother once too. He had his normally, steady running S35, and all of a sudden the thing sounded real weak. And instead of shutting off at 6.5 minutes, it ran for about 10.5 minutes. Landed, and he had the south end of a B in his venturi. Not enough to shut it off, just enough to restrict the venturi, so it didn't make any power, and it ran for a really
For a
long
long time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Ah,
Oh, the stories we all have, eh?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The weirdest one I ever had was I had a lock washer under the mounting bolt break, and half of it ended up down the venturi, and it caught the crankshaft.
Oh.
Stopped the motor like instantly, like a eighth of a turn maybe, threw the prop off and everything like that. And was really lucky. If the washer had gone all the way down and gone through the engine, that would have been that would have been awful.
Oh yeah.
It just
So
got
it was
stuck
actually
right
lucky.
in the valve,
It
I
happened
guess.
a week before the team trials and everything like that, and I'm all upset. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Got the airplane home, took it apart, and my dad had it fixed in about 20 minutes. He said,
Wow.
"What's this
It
piece
just
of metal?"
got,
Well, when
did
I
it
was
just
taking the
jam
engine out,
right
I
there?
noticed that I was missing a lock washer. I knew it was there. Where'd it go?
Did it just jam right there where the crank and the
just
valve
caught in the
opened?
intake port as the crank port was
Yeah.
coming shut. It caught this washer and instantly locked up the engine. So
Wow.
yeah,
Interesting.
I made a lot of friends at a contest in Milwaukee when I came down with my SIG twister, actually the franchise twister, and I had a KMB 28 that had a Davis diesel head on it. It was running it as a diesel. People didn't want to be around me much.
yeah,
Diesel are smelly.
yeah.
But that KMB 28 was turning an 11-inch prop and flew that airplane as a diesel, flew that plane just fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about I'd like to see more interest in the 2.5 cc diesel airplanes that came out of Britain and everything like that. That seemed to be everything they used. Stunt, combat, everything. They all used 2.5 cc
2.5.
diesels, right?
Well, they had
And there's a whole era of designs. They're obviously they're relatively little airplanes and stuff like that, but there's old time and classic era designs there. It'd be fun to have like a little sub event or something like that at some of the big old time contests or something.
you used to be able to get lamp oil, which is kerosene. You used to be able to get lamp oil that was perfumed. So it didn't,
Huh.
and I always wanted to make up some diesel fuel using that lamp oil. I figured it'd go around and be the prettiest smelling circle in the whole area.
Well, I think Larry Ranger posted. He says, you know how you wash your clothes with diesel. Once they get diesel fuel on it, how you wash your clothes? Yeah, out in the burn pile. That's the only way
Yeah.
to get rid of the smell.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Is that how Larry pronounces his name, Ranger?
I
No,
say
Ranger.
Ranger. I think it's actually Ranger, isn't it?
It's
That's
Ringer.
how I say it. I've always said it that way.
Ringer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lone Ranger, right? So.
Ringer.
Okay.
The Lone Ranger.
Ringer.
I always pronounced it Ringer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a cool dude too. I like all he's done with the half A's and half A size airplanes. So
Okay, I wasn't sure. I've only communicated with him briefly, and he always seemed a little curt. But you can't tell by that. in written communications either. But
No.
He's a nice guy. I see him often out here in California because he's in the Knights of the Round Circle. I'm a member of that club as well, and I see him, 2 or 3 times a year in contests. Nice guy.
Knights of the Round Circle, that's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy. He's very driven by design. He loves to design things. He actually
He
worked
judged
for
our reed speed contest on the Cox Engine forums. We had what they used to call a postal contest. Well, we did it via YouTube, and he did all of the timing judging for us, and so he was nice enough to do that, and so
Mm-hmm.
guess he seemed like an okay guy at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people. Huh.
he I think the Hyper Viper.
Is that his too? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Cox Viper. That's his design. Is that what you're saying?
I think we just lost John.
Yeah, I think he worked for Cox. Ringer worked for Cox, didn't he?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he worked for Cox. He designed a lot of their airplanes. I'm not sure. I think he was directly involved in the engine development, but I'm not absolutely certain about that. But he was designing a lot of the plastic airplanes and stuff, though, for sure.
Okay.
And he designed, well, probably the best one a lot of people remember is the ME-109 and the Chipmunk with the foam wings.
I know the
Oh,
Chipmunk. Yeah.
Yeah. And those
There we
things
go.
were like crazy. They were really something. And
They were good flyers, yeah. Compared to all the plastic ones, they flew much better.
Well, they basically, he brought a bunch of those to the Nats one year, right? And ended up creating the half-A stunt event. Everybody had so much fun flying those airplanes. A year later, they had a bunch. We had purpose-built airplanes and a half-A stunt event. So
Cox always put those anemic engines in them, though. They could have put a TD in that machine, and didn't. I don't know why.
Well, they apparently it wasn't even a twin bypass engine either. It was, but as I recall, they flew really, really well. I know because I was the one of the judges for the first unofficial half-A stunt contest. Everybody took their custom ME-109s, and we had a stunt contest right at the Nats. Came out of nowhere.
You know why they ran pretty good? Because they were all new. Cox 049s run great when they're new. I don't care if they're single bypass, dual bypass, or what. But once they get old and gummed up, then they don't run worth a pinch of you know what.
They got airly. That's the trouble with them.
Larry's ME-109. I got to fly it at Pasco, and it was it had a Venom engine in it.
Oh, that'll go.
Oh, now that's a good engine.
Oh yeah. All the rest of them had the regular stock engine, but his had the Venom in it, and boy, that thing would fly the pattern. I was amazed.
The only thing wrong with the Venom is it had that built-on tank, and those engines.
His didn't have that. His didn't have a built-on tank. His had.
Oh, it didn't. It had a postage stamp backplate on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have put the product engine backplate on a Venom, I think, and probably
that
the
would have
backplate a little bit. That would have worked.
Yeah.
The only other thing is he might have run out of gas with the stock airplane tank if it was making that much power. It was probably drawing more fuel.
Yeah, if it's making power, you won't get more than 90 seconds out of it. When I souped up my Black Widows, 90 seconds was it.
Was it?
It's out of gas before the fun light turns off. Yeah.
That sounds like my old Buick with the 455 in it.
Yeah. When I was going to college with my '69 Chevelle SS 396, and I used to have to fill it up leaving Columbia and fill it up getting into Atlanta, where school was. but it was fun in between.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It'd destroy a whole set of tires in one stomp.
My Buick Regal, it was amazing with that 455, and it would get me driving on the road, you know, on the highway, like between California and Tucson, 19 miles to the gallon. It was carbureted, but if I started stomping on it, I couldn't hardly get to the next gas station.
Yeah. Yeah, you might as well have been pouring gas down the carburetor with a fuel can. I mean, it drank it like that. And the only other thing wrong with them, it had those Rochester spreadbore carburetors too, I think. Well, my Chevelle did, and that was a sucky carburetor.
Was it? I don't know what I had for carburetor on there. I just know that sucker, when you told it to go, it just made all kinds of noise through the carburetor,
Yeah,
and things got real quick happening.
that was a lot like the Chevelle, except it had you said it was a Regal, probably had a
Yeah.
455. Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't realize Buick made some really high performance engines. They had the Wildcat with one of those big engines in it. It was a big car, probably weighed 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
How about
They
that
had
Buick
a
National? Was that Buick National a fast car?
What's
yeah,
that?
well, they had a stage 1 and a
Buick
stage
National?
2. Yeah. And these were different stages of cars that were basically prepped for race, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, they were race cars straight off the showroom floor, except they had air conditioners in them. That was the biggest difference.
I've got a friend here, Jim Rhodes. He flies stunt. He's got one that's got like 2,000 miles on it in his garage. Never sees the light of day anymore.
That's terrible for the machine. It needs to be driven.
Well, I agree with you. I think he's got it up, you know, where it's doing the best he can to keep it from rotting away. But
Yeah. Just cranking
yeah.
it for 20 minutes does not help it either. You
No.
gotta take it out and get all the parts moving, but still, it could be
Yeah.
redone easy enough.
Yeah.
I loved
Well,
my Chevelle. I inherited it from my dad. He died. He bought it in '69 and died 3 years later, and I inherited the car from him. I was 16 or 17 at the time, and that was way too much car for a teenager to be driving. But
yeah. One of my favorite cars was a El Camino, 72
oh,
Super.
I love the '69, '70 El Caminos. They were basically Chevelles with a truck bed on them.
Yeah, that's what they were. Yeah. I've had three El Caminos, and I'd like to have another.
I'd love to have one though.
I always call them the gentleman's pickup truck. You know, you could put a tonneau cover on the back, throw your airplanes in the back. You know, chalk them down, carry 3 or 4 of them in the back in the bed, and cover them up, and go to the contest.
Yeah.
Talking about carrying an airplane in the back of a pickup truck.
You know what's
Gordon
funny?
Delaney.
I got a picture of my car at the drag races, and I'm in line with everybody else, and over in the background behind it's a beautiful orange and white El Camino, '69 El Camino.
Yeah. Gordon Delaney was driving Pete Peterson to some contest, and he had his Thunderbird sitting in the back of his pickup truck. Now, it wasn't tied down there; they were just sitting there. And they're driving down the road, and they get down the road, and all of a sudden he looks in the rearview mirror, and here's that Thunderbird flying in the air, just above that pickup bed. The spinner almost, about that far away from the rear window.
Oh.
And he slams the brakes on, and it goes, boom, and it drops down to the
Slam the brakes on. I could put a slam the gas on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was just one of those things, you wouldn't have believed it could happen until it happened.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. I don't know how the heck the thing didn't just flutter away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a buddy who was moving one time in the 70s and he had all his airplanes in the back of a pickup truck. I looked out the back window and there he's got one hanging by one landing gear strut over the tailgate out the back.
Oh no.
He's going down the road, the plane's flying
behind
along,
him.
and there's one wheel holding it in.
Oh,
no.
Oh my
Oh, man.
Lord.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh my goodness.
It's just hanging on by one wheel. I'm like, one landing gear strut from going out the back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Yeah, I tied
Denny,
my planes down when I had a pickup.
Denny, do you have that file for the Paiute Warrior? I think it was in one of those I sent you. If you,
Yeah, well, I got the 5. You sent me which one? Do you mean?
the Paiute Warrior.
If I wanted to see it, that'd be great.
Well, let's see. All the ones I had, they weren't named that. You had different names on them. What did you call them?
Could have been just the Warrior or the Paiute.
I don't remember seeing Paiute Warrior.
No, just it could be just plain
again.
Paiute, or it could be just plain
that
Warrior.
might have been. I think let's see. I'm looking here. Anyhow, what about it, John?
Well, I just thought Carter might like to look at it or see it.
Okay, I got I got 3 bad attitudes and a Vanguard. That's what you sent me.
You don't have it. You don't have it. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, man.
It's too bad I can't seem to share anything here.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I look at my signal. It says good and all kinds of stuff, but it just won't seem to do what I want it to do. We'll get it one of these days, Carter, so you get a chance to see it.
All right.
That's going to have that.
Yeah. So I'm
That's
looking
going to
for
have that one on it.
That sounds great.
Y'all
Maybe
feel
you have
like
it done
calling it a night?
sometime.
Y'all feel like calling it a night tonight now?
Yeah, I think
it's getting late.
Time. Almost 2
Yeah,
o'clock. My gosh.
I apologize for the echo. Not that I could have done anything about it more, but anyway,
okay.
Those things happen.
Yeah, we all had fun still.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I learned how to fix
for
my
lousy connection. So.
Oh, we learn a little,
Okay,
we
boy.
laugh a little. It's always good.
Y'all all have a good weekend. Try to do something fun, and I will try to get out in the shop because I need to come back Monday and tell y'all all about what I did in the shop this weekend.
Well, I'm going to hold you to that, my friend.
Yeah.
That's a Cardinal profile. A Cardinal profile.
Well, still Hyper Vipers on the table. It's taking up Cardinal space, and so I'm gonna. I need to. I think in one sitting I could actually get a lot done if I would just get down to it, get serious with it. So I'll try to do that and have something to report. But anyway,
we'll all try and get serious then.
Yeah. Had a good. Let me check on our YouTubers. We still got 9 people watching out there. That's pretty
awesome.
good crowd out there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we had. Let me check on my analytics here. We had up to 20 people. Let's see.
Wow.
Yeah, we had 23. Looks like we had 23 people at one time. So that was pretty good. Complain about that. And,
hey, that's better than the open forum. They don't get 23 messages in a week now.
Yeah. No, I see Gerald signed off just about a minute ago. And so good night, Gerald. Gary Sinclair saying good night. Everybody, y'all have a great weekend. Fair winds, tight lines. And I'm still pulling up my shutdown software here, but everybody's waving at me. Okay, boys. Y'all have a great
See you Monday, Rusty. You have a good one.
Love you.
Good night. See you. Take it easy.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
And we're out of here. All right. Good show. Okay, Lynn. It's me and you and Charles Carter, and I am clicking the button now. All right. Good night.